Under flickering streetlights, Clara Voss lights a cigarette outside the dim jazz club. Her breath forms a mist in the cold night air, the silver locket at her neck catching the faint glow. Inside, Anna Lyle sings a haunting melody, her auburn curls brushing a crescent moon tattoo that glimmers under the stage lights. The audience is entranced, shadows dancing along the walls. Clara's sharp eyes scan the room, settling uneasily on Vincent Hale at the bar. His scarred cheek catches the dim light as he nervously surveys the crowd, glancing over his shoulder. Vincent suddenly slides a folded note into Clara's hand, before disappearing quickly through a rain-soaked alley behind the club. The damp air swirls around her as the door slams shut. Unfolding the note, Clara reads a cryptic message about the Vale and a midnight rendezvous near the docks. Her eyes narrow, realizing the urgency hidden between the cryptic words. Pocketing the note, Clara fingers her silver locket, the cold metal grounding her resolve. The shadows under the street lamp deepen as her expression hardens. At the police station, Lieutenant Morneau frowns over a faded photograph of the city's skyline, rain-blotched yet familiar. He explains the unsolved disappearances with a stern voice, tension thick in the air. Clara exhales smoke from her cigarette, jaw clenched, promising Morneau she'll uncover the truth. The flickering bulb overhead casts long shadows on the worn walls. Later, Elias Crane emerges from the mist near the docks, his gray fedora low and gloves pristine against the damp night. His silent approach seems almost spectral in the fog. Clara approaches Elias cautiously, noting his cold demeanor and the gleam of his gloves in the muted light. Their whispered exchange carries weight, secrets hovering between them. Elias warns of unseen forces lurking beneath the city's surface, cryptically mentioning the Midnight Vale as something to fear. His words hang heavy in the chill air. Suddenly, a shadow detaches. Vincent appears, urgency in his whisper as he speaks of a meeting that could expose everything. The three share a tense glance, aware of the risks. From their hidden vantage, Clara, Elias, and Vincent watch as shadowy figures gather in a clandestine assembly near the docks. Blurred reflections ripple off the water, obscuring faces. Gunfire shatters the silence. Chaos erupts with frantic movement. Clara narrowly escapes amidst the turmoil, clutching a torn piece of fabric stained with shadows and rain. Back in her dim apartment, Clara examines the fabric's emblem by the fading light, a match to Anna's crescent moon tattoo. A chill runs through her at the unexpected connection. Anna confronts Clara, suspicion flickering in her eyes as she questions the emblem's link to her past performances. Her voice trembles with a mix of fear and anger. Clara recalls rumors of a secret society, veiled references caught in old jazz lyrics passed down through whispers. The city's darkest corners seem to pulse with hidden meaning. Vincent admits his past affiliation with the society, revealing its deep reach into city officials and even the police force. His tone is haunted, remorse threading each word. Clara's silver locket glints faintly as she recalls her father's mysterious disappearance years ago, a dark thread now entwined with the society's shadow. Determination steals her gaze. At dawn, Elias reveals a concealed entrance beneath the city, a hidden passage that promises answers. They plan their exploration carefully, the weight of secrecy pressing down. Descending into twisting tunnels, shadows strain into ominous shapes, whispers curling from unseen corners. The faint glow of the locket marks their path against the oppressive darkness. A sudden mechanism slams shut behind them, sealing the entrance tight. Trapped, the group clings to the faint light emanating from Clara's locket as panic stirs. The locket's glow illuminates cryptic symbols carved deeply into the stone walls. The group leans in, realizing the warnings etched in stone might hold crucial meaning. Vincent interprets the symbols as grave cautions, but Elias pushes forward undeterred. They uncover a hidden chamber, its air thick with decades of secrets. Inside, stacks of documents expose layers of corruption, officials entwined with mysterious disappearances linked to the secret society. The full scope of their enemies' reach becomes chillingly clear. Suddenly, distant footsteps echoed through the tunnel, sharp and unyielding. Instinctively, the group melted into the shadows, blending with blurred reflections cast by flickering lights. Lieutenant Morneau's stern voice called out, slicing through the silence and betraying their hiding spot. Morneau appeared, his square jaw set rigidly as he demanded Clara hand over the evidence immediately. His tone left no room for negotiation, threatening charges of insubordination if she refused. The air thickened with tension, the flicker of cigarette embers nearly forgotten. Clara stepped forward, her eyes unwavering as she opened her coat to reveal her own badge beneath. Her voice was steady as she declared a commitment to justice that transcended mere orders. The silver locket around her neck caught the low light, a quiet emblem of her resolve. Morneau hesitated, a flicker of conflict crossing his features beneath his stern facade. Before the standoff could deepen, a sudden structural tremor rocked the tunnel, sending debris crashing down and forcing them into chaos. Dust and shadows swirled as the passage partially collapsed behind them. Amidst the turmoil, Elias's gaze caught a faint glimmer, a narrow exit veiled by twisting passages. Without hesitation, he adjusted his gray fedora and led the group through the labyrinthine corridors. Their steps echoed faintly against wet walls, the silver locket and crescent moon tattoo glimpsed in fleeting reflections. At last, they emerged near the city's riverside, where shadowy figures in trench coats awaited under dim street lamps. The figures' silhouettes merged with the night, an ominous presence wrapping the group in unease. Clara's grip tightened on her locket as the moon tattoo peeked from Anna's wrist. A sudden pursuit ignited. Clara sprinted through narrow alleyways and darted across rooftops, expertly navigating the urban maze. The city's neon lights blurred in streaks as she clutched her locket, her breath sharp in the cold air. Behind her, footsteps faltered but never ceased. Reunited in a neon-glowing street corner, Anna and Vincent joined Clara and Elias. The group huddled together, whispering rapid strategies under the electric hum. The crescent moon tattoo caught fleeting glints from flickering signs, grounding them. Anna revealed a forgotten jazz recording, its crackling notes hiding coded messages about the society's covert operations. The melody intertwined with cryptic whispers, secrets layered beneath the familiar tune. The faded city skyline photograph lay nearby, a constant reminder of what was at stake. Listening intently, Clara decrypted the chilling phrase, "Veil lifted at last." The words hinted at an impending event that could change everything. Shadows seemed to lengthen around them as understanding deepened. Vincent leaned in, his scarred cheek shadowed under a street lamp. He warned of a clandestine auction where secrets, and more, were laid bare and traded like currency. The city's underbelly pulsed with danger just ahead. Clara infiltrated the auction disguised among the shadows, eyes sharp beneath her leather coat's collar. Her gaze locked on the organizer's emblem, a mirror of the insignia etched into her silver locket. The room buzzed with hushed bids and shifting alliances. She observed as live bids soared over incriminating documents, each coming at higher stakes than anticipated. The auction held more than rumors. It was a battleground where truth and deception clashed openly. Smoke curled upward, cigarettes burning down ever closer to ash. Suddenly, an unexpected rage shattered the tense atmosphere, chaos erupting. Seizing the moment, Clara slipped through confusion to snatch critical evidence from beneath watchful eyes. The silver locket pressed against her chest, a symbol of unyielding courage. Safe within a dimly lit hideout, the group pored over the decrypted documents, faces etched with growing dread. The revelations tied Elias's enigmatic identity to a sprawling web of citywide corruption. His perpetual gray fedora and gloves seemed to weigh heavier with confession. Elias finally confessed, voice low and remorseful. He was once a high-ranking society member, now seeking redemption for past sins cast in shadows. His admission shifted the fragile trust they'd built, the crescent moon tattoo a muted witness nearby. Trust shaken, the group debated fiercely, their breaths short in the cramped room. Clara insisted on confronting the society's leader face to face, unwilling to let shadows dictate their fate. Her locket gleamed softly, a beacon amidst uncertainty. A coded message led them to an abandoned theater, its curtains for years untouched and draped in shadows and mystery. The air hung thick with dust and forgotten echoes, the city skyline photograph tucked carefully in Clara's coat pocket. They stepped inside, hearts pounding against the silence. Within the theater's faded confines, Clara confronted a figure obscured behind a veil, an unexpected presence from her past. The face held painful memories, intimately connected to the lost photograph sealed beneath layers of rain and time. The silver locket lay heavy in her palm. Without warning, the theater was plunged into absolute darkness by a sudden blackout. Vulnerability wrapped tightly around them, breaths quickening in the consuming void. The crescent moon tattoo stole faint glimmers in the black, a silent reassurance. When the lights flickered back, the leader was gone, vanished into thin air. But a new clue lay in plain sight, pointing toward a rendezvous at the city's old observatory. The fractured reflections of the skyline danced over broken glass, the locket catching subtle glints. At the observatory, Clara stared into the fractured city skyline reflected in shattered glass panels. Each shard distorted the truth, symbolizing fractured realities and hidden fractures within the city itself. The silver locket hung steadily against her chest, unwavering amid broken truths. Inside, the group uncovered a detailed map outlining the society's insidious influence over critical city infrastructure. Lines and shadows intertwined, revealing the depth of corruption and control. Anna's crescent moon tattoo remained visible as they traced the dark web. A tense standoff unfolded as Morneau unexpectedly joined forces with them, revealing his own disillusionment and conflicted allegiance. His crisp uniform was now a symbol of rebellion, his square jaw set against old loyalties. Cigarette smoke curled around them, blurring edges between friend and foe. Together, they crafted a daring plan for a decisive strike during the upcoming city council meeting. The web of deceit strained under the weight of their resolve to expose it. Clara's silver locket gleamed quietly, the symbol of a justice ready to pierce the midnight veil. Detective Clara Voss stepped forward on the council floor, the weight of the silver locket against her chest, steadying her resolve. Her voice cut through the tense silence as she laid out the evidence linking the shadowy society to the city's corruption, each detail more damning than the last. Unbeknownst to many, hidden cameras streamed Clara's revelation across the city, broadcasting the truth to officials and citizens alike. Gasps and murmurs echoed through rooms and streets as the scale of the conspiracy became undeniable. The society's grip on the city began to unravel rapidly. As their supporters scrambled to escape, Clara's team swiftly sealed all exits. The growing shadows of panic were met with unyielding light, trapping traitors within their crumbling fortress. Lieutenant Morneau moved with calculated precision, arresting key conspirators amid the chaos. Quietly, Elias Crane stepped forward, gray fedora tipped low, gloves gleaming under the harsh lights, surrendering himself in a bid for redemption. On live television, Anna Lyle took the stage, her auburn curls catching the glow of the spotlight that revealed her crescent moon tattoo. Her hopeful jazz melody carried through the night, a soulful promise echoing beyond the unveiled darkness. Clara found herself at her father's grave as rain gently fell, droplets tracing rivulets on the weathered stone. Resting the silver locket against the headstone, she felt the weight of loss and the strength of purpose intertwined in the quiet moment. The city exhaled with cautious relief, the oppressive veil lifted from its streets and alleys. Shadows remained, but they no longer dictated the rhythm of the night, leaving space for a fragile peace to grow. Standing atop a rain-slicked rooftop, Clara watched as dawn stretched over the city skyline, the familiar photograph safely tucked deep in her coat. The sky's soft light promised new beginnings amidst lingering shadows. As the first rays illuminated the streets below, Clara slipped the faded city skyline photograph back into her leather coat pocket. It was a silent testament to the past she bore and the uncertain road ahead she was determined to walk. With a final slow breath, Clara exhaled a plume of smoke that drifted into the morning air. Clad in her leather coat and clutching her silver locket, she faced the emerging day, ready to confront whatever shadows still lingered. Marla's phone buzzed with an unknown number just as the clock struck midnight. Curiosity got the better of her. She answered hesitantly, hearing nothing but a faint, eerie silence. Shrugging it off, she returned to her reading, but the silence persisted, growing heavier in the still night. Suddenly, a whisper floated through the speaker. "I see you." Heart pounding, Marla dropped the phone. The screen fractured, yet the whisper continued, now coming from everywhere around her. She rose, trembling, and tried to escape the oppressive quiet that had now turned into a deafening echo. In the dim hallway, portraits seemed to watch her with hollow eyes, their shadows lengthening unnaturally. Each step she took echoed back distorted cries, as if the house itself mourned in agony. Reaching the main door, she found it sealed shut, her panic swelling with the realization she was trapped. The whisper morphed into a chilling chant, repeating her name over and over. Desperately, Marla searched for another way out, her breath visible in the suddenly cold air. In the corner, a cracked mirror shimmered. Her reflection stared back, but its mouth moved independently, mouthing words she couldn't hear. Frozen, she backed away, but the reflection beckoned, dragging her gaze deeper into its inky depths. A snatch of a forgotten memory flooded her mind, a warning from a childhood dream. Summoning all her courage, Marla focused on the old grandfather clock in the hall, its pendulum swinging sluggishly. "Time to end this," she whispered, smashing the clock's glass with a chair leg. The house groaned, the shadows retreating as the oppressive silence shattered into 1,000 shards of sound. The front door creaked open slowly, revealing the faint blush of dawn outside. With a final glance back, Marla stepped out, the whisper fading into nothingness behind her. She heard the narrator's voice softly intone, "Some silences are better left unbroken." At the first light of dawn, Leora wakes clutching her silver leaf pendant tightly, the symbol a small comfort amidst the unease settling over the village. Outside, the ancient forest stretches silently, its shadows long and mysterious under the pale morning sky. As Leora walks through the village, she notices worried faces exchanging nervous glances. The fading light and wilting crops weigh heavily on everyone's spirits, hinting at a deeper, unseen affliction creeping through the land. Near the village's edge, Theron hunches over his forge, the heat and smoke mixing with the morning air. His soot-streaked hands carefully sharpen tools, eyes steady and calm despite the unsettling changes they all face. Leora approaches Theron, holding out a broken shard of a prism glowing faintly green, its fractured edges catching the light erratically. She hopes he can decipher its origin, sensing it may hold the key to their village's plight. Theron examines the shard, his brow furrowing as he recognizes the ancient symbols etched into its surface. They are the same carvings he's seen in the worn stones of the forest temple ruins, linking the mysterious object to a place steeped in forgotten power. In the village square, the community gathers with growing anxiety as the flowers around them lose their vibrant hues and the sunlight dims unevenly each passing day. Whispered fears spread like wildfire, the natural world turning against them in subtle but ominous ways. Leora recalls the old tales of the Prism of Verdant Grove, a mystical artifact believed to sustain the life and color of their land. Now fractured, it seems the very heart of their forest and village is faltering. Determined, she resolves to venture into the ancient forest, seeking the temple to reunite the prism's scattered shards. The weight of hope rests heavily on her shoulders as she prepares to face unknown dangers. Before she departs, Theron presents her with a finely forged knife, the metal gleaming and sharp. He warns her of the forest's lurking perils and pledges his support should she need it. Stepping beneath towering trees, Leora watches the dappled sunlight flicker with an eerie inconsistency, as though the forest itself breathes and shifts with secret magic. She grips her silver leaf pendant for reassurance as she moves deeper into the woods. Strange insects emitting glowing hues flutter around her, their movements guiding her toward an ancient moss-covered path inscribed with runes. The path seems alive, whispering of forgotten enchantments and hidden dangers. As she nears the temple ruins, shadows twist and shift unnaturally, hinting at unseen watchers lurking just beyond the edges of her vision. A chill runs down her spine, the forest's magic growing more intense and unpredictable. Suddenly, Elendra emerges from the shadows, her gray eyes piercing and her blue tattoos glowing faintly in the dim light. She warns Leora that sinister forces seek to block the prism's restoration, their intentions dark and relentless. Elendra reveals herself as a guardian marked by ancient power, her glowing tattoos a symbol of her sacred duty. She offers cryptic guidance, urging caution and resolve in the trials to come. Leora steels herself, her grip tightening on her pendant as she vows to collect all the prism fragments before the encroaching darkness extinguishes the land's magic completely. Her determination shines through despite the overwhelming odds. At the temple's altar, Leora discovers the first major shard embedded within, pulsating with a gentle, soft light that hints at its lingering vitality. Its fractured surface gleams, promising both hope and challenge. When Leora touches the shard, a sudden burst of vibrant color spreads across the clearing, briefly reviving the wilted flowers around her. The momentary revival fills her with cautious optimism that restoration is possible. Without warning, dark roots surge violently from the earth, twisting and lashing like serpents as they attempt to ensnare her in magical vines. The forest itself seems to resist her quest, its ancient magic turning hostile. Leora narrowly escapes the grasp of the tendrils by slicing through them with her knife, but in the struggle, the shard slips from her grasp and its light dims once more. The fleeting hope flickers, reminding her of the delicate balance she must maintain. Deeper within the temple, Leora uncovers ancient murals depicting the prism's power and a shadowy figure breaking it apart. The imagery warns of a malevolent force determined to shatter the land's lifeblood. Unexpectedly, Theron appears, having tracked her trail through the treacherous forest. His presence offers much-needed strength and companionship in a place so laden with peril. Together, they navigate traps forged from shifting light and shadow, their hands clasped tightly, the silver leaf pendant between them glowing softly with a reassuring light. Their unity becomes their greatest defense against the temple's enchantments. They arrive at a chamber where a large shard hovers, partitioned and imprisoned within a glowing cage of shimmering energy. The air vibrates with powerful magic that resists their approach. Elendra returns to warn them that to claim this shard, they must face their deepest fears, illusions conjured by the prism's protective magic. The challenge is as much of the mind as it is of the body, testing their inner strength. Leora confronts a vivid vision of her village withering away and her silver leaf pendant crumbling into dust, a haunting test of her resolve and hope. The fear threatens to overwhelm her, but her determination to save her home pushes her forward despite the torment. With Theron's calm encouragement, Leora summons her resolve, pushing through the harrowing vision. The spectral cage shimmers and cracks, finally shattering to release the glowing shard. The silver leaf pendant on her chest pulses softly, a reassuring beacon of hope. She carefully positions the new shard beside the first, their edges fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Light bursts forth, the forest responding instantly, roots curl back gently while blossoms burst open in radiant colors. The prism's fractured light seems to pulse with new energy, weaving through the ancient trees. Suddenly, a low rumble shakes the temple's structure, dust falling from stone carvings etched with ancient forest symbols. Unseen forces awaken, reacting unpredictably to the partial restoration of the prism. The air around them thickens with shimmering light and shadow intertwining. Outside, the sky darkens as a swirling storm of Inkai black energy coils above the land. The sun is swallowed by roiling clouds, halting the forest's revival in an instant. A chill freezes the air, leaves shriveling even as flowers remain poised to bloom. Realizing time slips through their fingers, Leora and Theron steel themselves to retrieve the remaining shards before darkness claims the entire grove. Each moment the storm grows stronger, blotting out natural light that once guided them. Their determination burns as brightly as the silver pendant at Leora's throat. Following cryptic clues left by Elendra, the trio ventures deeper into the forest. At last, they find a hidden glade, a serene clearing where ancient trees rise tall and proud. There, beneath one venerable tree, the third shard lies buried beneath a carpet of moss and roots. The glowing symbols etched into the tree's bark mirror those found on temple stones, faint blue light swirling around them. Leora's silver leaf pendant flares warmly in response, as if connecting to the ancient magic. The shard's refracted light dances across the bark's intricate patterns. As Leora reaches out, spectral wolves materialize between her and the shard, their eyes blazing with ethereal fire. Low growls ripple through the clearing, their presence a chilling warning. The silver pendant remains visible, a steady pulse amidst growing tension. Theron steps forward swiftly, hefting his crafted weapons with practiced ease. The clash is swift but intense, his strength and precision keeping the wolves at bay without harm. Colored light flickers around their struggle, the magical energy tangible in the air. With the final strike, the spectral wolves dissolve into wisps of blue light, their menace ebbing away. In their place, faint luminescent paw prints glow briefly on the earth before fading. The shard is now safely in their grasp, radiating a renewed shimmer beneath Leora's pendant. The trio hastens back toward the temple, urgency propelling their steps as the storm outside intensifies. Lightning crackles unpredictably, painting jagged shadows against twisted branches. The forest's renewed life struggles against the encroaching darkness closing in rapidly. Elendra begins chanting ancient words, her glowing blue tattoos blazing fiercely along her arms and face. A shimmering barrier of light and color spins around them, rippling against the storm's assaults. Despite her effort, the tempest's wrath grows relentless. Suddenly, the protective spell falters. A jagged surge of black lightning strikes the earth nearby. The ground splits open with a roaring crack, jagged edges glowing with erratic colors like fractured glass. The trio is thrown off balance by the violent upheaval underfoot. In an agonizing instant, Leora tumbles into the glowing chasm, her silver leaf pendant the last visible trace as it flickers faintly. Prism shards scatter deeper into the twisting, luminescent tunnels below. The forest's fate now hangs precariously with her survival. Theron and Elendra gaze down in horror, their voices lost in the storm's howling wind. The pendant's faint gleam fades slowly into the shadows, a fragile thread tethering her to the surface world. Fear and determination etch their faces as they prepare to follow her plunge. Within the glowing chasm, Leora moves cautiously through erratic passages alive with fractured light. The colors shift unpredictably, disorienting yet mesmerizing as they refract through countless crystal surfaces. Her pendant remains a steady source of calm in the surreal depths. She finds scattered shards embedded in the crystalline walls, each fragment radiating a shard of the forest's lost warmth. As she collects them, patches of vibrant color pulse through the tunnels, slowly pushing back the surrounding darkness. Hope glimmers in the depths below the shattered earth. Suddenly, a wraith of shifting shadows blocks her path, formed from the chasm's darkest fears. Its form writhes with malice, bent on capturing the prism's power for itself. The silver leaf pendant flares with defiant light, casting away creeping darkness momentarily. Summoning all her courage, Leora channels the pendant's radiant glow to repel the wraith. The dark entity wavers, then dissipates into flickering shadows spiraling away. The fragments gathered in her hands shimmer brighter, empowering her resolve to escape. Breaking through to the surface, Leora reunites with Theron and Elendra, her hands clutching all the recovered shards. The storm above still looms, its dark tendrils writhing around the trembling forest. Yet their combined presence offers a fragile beacon of resistance. They race toward the temple altar, urgency sharpening every step, knowing full restoration is their last hope. The shards begin to levitate and spin, slow and deliberate, aligning in a precise pattern atop the stone platform. Colored light cascades from their joined edges, painting the walls in shimmering hues. As the shards circle each other, prismatic light fractures and cascades like a waterfall, filling the chamber with radiant glow. Ancient forest symbols etched into stone and wood catch the light, pulsing in time with the prism's rhythms. The silver leaf pendant glows steadily at Leora's throat, syncing with the spectacle. Suddenly, dark storm clouds coil tighter around the temple, tendrils of shadow pressing inward. The vibrant light from the prism flickers as if struggling for breath. The encroaching darkness threatens to snuff out this fragile beacon of life and magic. Elendra channels her dwindling strength into a surge of protective magic, her blue tattoos dimming from fierce glow to faint ember. With an anguished cry, she weakens the storm's grip momentarily, buying precious seconds. Her sacrifice leaves the aura around them shimmering with bittersweet intensity. In the heart of the swirl, Leora places her silver leaf pendant at the prism's center. Her unwavering faith ignites a brilliant pulse of life and color that floods the temple. The prisms blaze with radiant light, weaving hope through the forest's struggling veins. The fractured prism, held aloft by Leora, began to glow with intensifying light as the jagged edges shimmered with every hue. Suddenly, the shards flew together in a dazzling spectacle, weaving back into a flawless whole. As the last piece clicked into place, the storm above quelled, and warm sunlight flooded the verdant grove once more. Gradually, the once bare trees burst forth with lush greenery, their leaves whispering in newfound life. Flowers of every color bloomed vibrantly, filling the air with sweet scents, while the forest echoed again with the joyous calls of returning animals. Nature's healing was visible and undeniable, celebrating the suspension of chaos. Elendra stood nearby, a faint smile curving her lips as her glowing blue tattoos dimmed, her strength slowly ebbing. Though her power waned, peace radiated from her presence, a testament to the restored balance between magic and the natural world. The ancient symbols etched along her robe seemed to pulse softly, syncing with the harmonized forest. Theron embraced Leora firmly, soot-streaked hands steady and warm, pride and relief shining in his eyes. Around them, the village showed signs of vibrant renewal, the air full of hope as lives once again thrived. Their shared sigh marked a turning point, the darkest days giving way to flourishing vitality. The silver leaf pendant resting against Leora's heart glowed softly, emitting a gentle green luminescence that intertwined with the natural light. This subtle beacon symbolized the ongoing healing and the unbreakable connection forged through hope and perseverance. It reminded them all that, while trials had passed, the journey of restoration continued. Returning to her village, Leora was greeted by scenes of celebration beneath skies washed in vivid hues. Villagers danced amidst blossoming harvest fields, their faces alight with gratitude and renewed spirit. The air was thick with song and laughter, an ode to recovery and the promise of continued prosperity. In the quiet moments, Leora recounted her perilous journey to attentive ears, her pendant radiant in the soft glow of evening light. The prism shards were now carefully encased within the village hall, displayed as solemn reminders of what had been overcome. Each piece reflected the natural light subtly, symbolizing strength through unity and memory. As night fell, the silver leaf pendant around Leora's neck shimmered faintly, casting soft green patterns that mingled with the silver stars overhead. The calm forest around her seemed to breathe gently, alive with peaceful energy and quiet magic. Within this tranquility, hope glimmered, persistent as the stars above. New seedlings sprouted tenderly around the ancient temple, their vibrant leaves whispering promises of growth and resilience. These living symbols echoed the ancient forest markings, blending old magic with fresh life. Inspired by their shared ordeal, the village embraced this continuous cycle of renewal with reverence and care. The story closed with Leora standing on a gentle hill, her emerald eyes fixed toward the distant horizon. The silver leaf pendant pulsed faintly at her chest, a quiet promise of hope and connection as dawn painted the sky. She stood ready, heart steady, awaiting the new wonders and challenges the future might bring. In the heart of Riverton, an old bank stood untouched for decades, its vault rumored to hold secrets worth millions. Mara, a sharp and fearless planner, gathered a small team for one last job before vanishing for good. "This isn't about money," Mara said, eyes gleaming. "It's about the truth locked inside that vault." The team studied blueprints and security shifts, memorizing every detail with laser focus. On a foggy Friday night, they slipped through shadows into the building, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. Inside, alarms and cameras seemed dormant, almost welcoming their presence. Reaching the vault door, Ethan, the tech expert, disabled the electronic lock with practiced ease. With a heavy click, the massive door creaked open, revealing a dusty chest and an old, tarnished ledger. Mara brushed off the dust, flipping through pages filled with names, dates, and unimaginable secrets. Suddenly, footsteps echoed in the corridor. The bank manager was making his nightly rounds early. "Time to go," Mara whispered, slipping the ledger into a satchel. They retraced their steps, heartbeats pounding, until fresh air greeted them outside. Under the streetlights, they spread out the ledger's contents, revealing records of corruption hidden for years. "This will bring down the corrupt," Mara smiled. "Not a payday, but justice is worth more." The team parted ways, each knowing their lives had changed forever. News stations buzzed the next day as evidence surfaced, shaking Riverton to its core. Mara watched the chaos unfold from a cafe, her mission complete. The thrill of the heist was nothing compared to the satisfaction of unveiling truth. "Not all treasures are gold," she mused, sipping her coffee. And so, under the fading city lights, she disappeared, leaving behind a restless city and a story untold. The evening fog curled around the old clock tower as Eliza crept closer, clutching the folded letter in her hand. Her heart pounded with every step. The letter promised a secret buried for decades, hidden right beneath the ticking face above. Old Man Grayson's cryptic warning echoed in her mind. Not all timekeepers guard moments. Some keep shadows. Eliza reached the iron door at the tower's base, her fingers trembling as she found the rusted key taped under the ledge. The door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase that disappeared into darkness and dust. She took a deep breath and descended, the faint sound of the clocks ticking growing louder in her ears. Midway down, a glimmer caught her eye. A small leather pouch tucked into a crack on the wall. Inside, she found a collection of strange keys and a worn diary belonging to her grandfather, a man she barely knew. Flipping through, cryptic notes mapped a hidden compartment beneath the clock's mechanism. Her fingers quickly found the latch, releasing a panel that revealed a shaded alcove bathed in moonlight. Inside lay an old photograph and a delicate music box, its surface etched with a family crest she recognized. As she opened the music box, a haunting melody filled the silent tower, swirling memories of forgotten days. Eliza's eyes welled up. The photograph showed her grandmother, smiling beneath the clock tower, long before it was abandoned. A folded note inside the box read, "Time seals what the heart never forgets." She realized the secret wasn't gold or jewels, but the preservation of a family's love frozen in time. With a soft smile, Eliza wound the clock's mechanism to resume its silent vigil. The morning light illuminated the tower as she stepped out, the town oblivious to the quiet restoration. Eliza whispered, "Some mysteries aren't lost, they are waiting to be found." As the clock chimed at dawn, she clutched her grandfather's diary close, a new story just beginning. And somewhere in the distance, the clock tower kept its steady beat, a heartbeat echoing through the years. The alarm's humming was the only sound cutting through the eerie silence of the museum's grand hall. Silas crouched behind a marble pillar, checking his watch, midnight to the second. Time for the plan to unfold. He whispered into the comlink, eyes sharp, "Team, the Van Gogh isn't going to admire itself." Across the room, Leela perched by the security panel, her fingers dancing over the keypad with practiced ease. Beep! The heavy steel door clicked open silently, the final barrier between them and the priceless masterpiece. Silas glanced up, spotting guards rounding the corner. "Change of plans," he murmured, drawing his smoke bomb. A sudden burst of smoke filled the hallway, confusion spreading like wildfire among the bewildered guards. Leela slipped through the chaos, sliding the glass case open with a glinting tool. The Van Gogh's colors gleamed as she lifted the painting out, replacing it swiftly with a near-perfect replica. "Package secured, exfil route." Silas's voice was calm, betraying none of the tension. Jax responded from the roof. "Rooftop extraction ready, deploying zipline now." They moved as one, silent shadows navigating the maze-like corridors with military precision. Suddenly, a motion sensor blinked red. Leela froze, heart racing. "We've got company." Silas grinned, pulling out a mini EMP device. "Count on me to jack the system." Lights flickered and alarms silenced. "Go," he urged, leading the sprint to the roof. Jax caught them at the edge, hooking the zipline harnesses in place with mechanical efficiency. One by one, they zipped away into the night, the city lights blurring beneath them. Safely on the adjacent building, Silas breathed out. "A clean job, team, like clockwork." Leela held up the painting, marveling at the success mingled with disbelief. As dawn broke, the city woke unaware. Tonight, the legend of the clockwork caper would quietly echo through the streets. Clara's breath froze in the air as the evening fog swallowed the quiet town square. At the edge of the square, an old clock tower told eerily out of sync, its face cracked and eyes hollow. She whispered to herself, this was never supposed to be alive, as shadows twisted at the corners of her vision. The clock hands spun backward suddenly, the chimes echoing like a call from another time. An invisible pull guided Clara to the tower's ancient wooden door, which creaked open with a breathless sigh. Inside, the air hummed, thick with stories long forgotten, and the floor was littered with dust and faded pages. She stepped carefully, eyes drawn to a glowing hourglass suspended midair, sand swirling upward instead of down. A voice like wind through chimes whispered, "Turn time and see what should not be lost." The world around her blurred, colors bleeding as scenes from the town's past flickered like old film. She saw the founder of the town, a misunderstood seeker of truth, trapped within the tower's curse. The clock tower was a prison, binding him between moments, his story never told. Determined, Clara reached forward and touched the hourglass, feeling a pulse of ancient power. Time slowed and then exploded into motion, memories flooding the room like a floodlight. She watched as the founder stepped quietly through the mist, free at last from his invisible chains. The clock hands resumed their normal turn, chiming softly as peace settled over the tower. Clara smiled, the fog lifting as dawn's first light painted golden streaks across the square. "Sometimes," she said gently, "all it takes is a single moment to set things right." She turned from the tower, footsteps light, carrying with her the quiet magic of a story reclaimed. As she disappeared down the morning street, the town seemed to breathe anew, alive with whispered thanks. And somewhere, just beyond the mist, the clock's steady tick reminded the world that some mysteries sleep only until the right time. The rain slammed the city streets like a relentless drum, washing secrets away one drop at a time. Inside a dimly lit office, Detective Lane lit a cigarette, smoke curling like silent whispers around his tired face. "Another sleepless night," he muttered, when the door creaked open, revealing a woman drenched in trouble. "I need your help," she said, eyes darting like a trapped animal. "My brother vanished 3 nights ago, no trace." Lane grabbed his trench coat, the city's underbelly calling him out once more into the fog. The alleys smelled of wet concrete and fear, as he followed leads from shadow to shadow. Each clue was a brushstroke painting a bleak portrait. Whispered threats, shattered lives, and long-forgotten debts. In a smoky bar, a bartender slid Lane a glass and a tip. "Look where the light doesn't reach, the docks." The docks were deserted, but danger lurked beneath the flickering lamps. Footsteps echoed behind him. "I wouldn't go any further," warned a gravelly voice from the darkness. Ignoring the warning, Lane pressed on, uncovering a ring trafficking in stolen identities. He found the missing brother locked in a filthy storage room, alive but broken. "You're not just a messenger," the woman whispered when they reunited. There was fire in her eyes now. As dawn cracked the veil of night, Lane confronted the mastermind, a man cloaked in respectability by day. "Everyone has a price," Lane said, "even you." Evidence secured, they handed the villain to the police, but the city's scars ran deep. Back in his office, Lane watched the first sunbeam cut through the gloom. "Another case closed," he said with a weary smile. "But in this town, closure is just the start." The rain stopped, but the shadows lingered, waiting for the next secret to surface. And Detective Lane, cigarette still burning, was already chasing the city's next ghost. At midnight, beneath a heavy, shrouded fog, Emma crept into the old mansion at the edge of town. With only her flashlight piercing the darkness, she moved cautiously through the creaking halls. Soft murmurs seemed to drift from the cracked walls, barely audible yet unmistakably human. Emma froze, heart pounding as a voice whispered, "Help me." From the shadows, determined not to flee, she followed the voice, each step echoing ominously. The hallway twisted unnaturally, doors appearing where none were before, leading deeper inside. She reached a room bathed in an eerie, pulsating glow, the source unseen. Inside, the voice grew clearer, pleading, "Find the locket, set me free." Emma's eyes caught a glint beneath the shattered floorboards, a delicate silver locket. As she lifted it, the temperature dropped. A cold presence filled the air around her. Shadows coalesced into a pale figure trapped behind the walls, eyes begging for release. Emma whispered, "I have it," sliding the locket onto the ghostly form's neck. Light burst forth, the walls trembling as the spirit smiled and began to fade. "Thank you," came the last faint whisper, before silence reclaimed the room. The mansion's oppressive weight lifted. The air grew warm, the whispers ceased. Emma stepped outside as dawn's first light touched the horizon, the curse broken. Behind her, the mansion seemed less menacing, almost at peace for the first time in decades. She promised herself to remember the trapped soul and the power of courage in darkness. As she walked away, a final gust of wind carried a soft murmur, "Never forget." Emma smiled, turning back once more to the now quiet house, fading into the morning mist. The old clock in the hallway hadn't worked in years, but that night, it struck midnight with a sound eerily clear. Mara sat on the stairwell, clutching a faded journal she found in the attic earlier that day. Suddenly, a soft whisper curled through the air, barely louder than the tick of a second hand. "Time is waiting." Her eyes darted to the clock, its hands moving backward slowly, as if unraveling time itself. The whispers grew louder, merging into a chorus of voices telling stories from decades past. Mara opened the journal, noticing new words appearing on the page. Tales of those who lived in the house, long gone. They're trapped, the whispers said, lost between moments, waiting to be remembered. Compelled, Mara read aloud, and with every word spoken, the voices brightened, their stories flowing like winds through the room. Shadows danced on the walls, shaped like cheerful ancestors, smiling in gratitude. The clock hands spun faster, then stopped abruptly at 12:01, and silence returned. Mara closed the journal, feeling a warmth spread through the house, as if the past had finally been set free. The next morning, the clock sat still, its magic spent, but the air held a lightness Mara hadn't noticed before. Neighbors stopped by to share forgotten memories and photographs, drawn by an invisible invitation. "You've brought them peace," an elderly neighbor whispered warmly. Mara realized the journal was not just a book, but a bridge between times, waiting for the right voice to awaken it. From that day on, the house was alive with stories, laughter, and the gentle ticking of a clock that now told time true and steady. Mara smiled, understanding the past wasn't lost, merely waiting to be heard again. The whispers had faded, but their echo remained, lingering softly like a cherished secret. And sometimes, just as the clock strikes midnight, Mara swears she hears a thankful murmur, a gentle nudge reminding her that stories never truly end. With one last glance at the silent clock, Mara whispered back, "Thank you for sharing your time with me." Right when Mark opened his lunchbox, it was empty. "Where did my sandwich go?" he muttered. He peeked under the table, no sandwich. He checked his backpack, also no sandwich. Mark's friend Lily spotted him. "Lost your lunch?" she asked with a grin. "Yep, someone stole my sandwich," Mark declared dramatically, waving an empty wrapper. Determined, they started a serious investigation around the cafeteria. They interrogated the class hamster, who only squeaked back. Then they asked Mr. Brown, the janitor, who shrugged with a chuckle. Next, they surveyed the suspects: Tommy, the cookie thief, Sarah, the sneaky soda sipper, and Jenny, who always had crumbs. Jenny claimed innocence, dusting imaginary crumbs from her sleeves. Tommy looked suspiciously content, licking chocolate off his fingers. Lily found a suspicious trail of lettuce leaves, leading towards the teacher's lounge. Mark followed, whispering, "This is it, the breakthrough." They peeked inside and saw the teacher, Mr. Clark, happily munching on what looked exactly like Mark's sandwich. "Caught red-handed, Mr. Clark laughed and said, "I thought someone left this for me." Mark rolled his eyes. "Next time, just ask." As a peace offering, Mr. Clark promised to buy Mark a new sandwich every day this week. Mark grinned, "Deal, but only if Tommy shares his cookies too." Lily snorted. "Looks like our investigation turned into a snack party." They all laughed together, the mystery solved and hunger satisfied. And from that day on, Mark's lunches stayed mysteriously untouched, except during snack parties. Evelyn steps cautiously into the abandoned village, the evening mist swirling around her feet. Her sharp eyes fixate on the cracked mirror hanging outside the ruined chapel, its fractured surface catching what little light remains. Pulling her faded blue coat tighter against the chill, Evelyn listens as distant church bells toll the hour, their eerie chimes echoing through the silent streets. The sound sends a shiver down her spine, breaking the unsettling calm. From the shadowed street, Marcus emerges, his tall frame casting a long silhouette. The pale light glints off the deep scar on his cheek as he approaches, holding out an old locket with faded engravings to Evelyn. Suddenly, Nora appears, clutching a small wooden box tightly, her young face mixed with fear and fierce determination. Her presence adds a new energy to the uneasy reunion beneath the flickering candlelight within the chapel. The trio huddles close, exchanging hurried whispers about the hollow entity, the shadowy figure blamed for the village's recent disappearances. Each word weighs heavy as they share their knowledge of the relentless force haunting them. Inside the chapel, the cracked mirror's surface begins to flicker unnaturally, revealing fleeting shapes that do not belong. The candlelight dances wildly, casting trembling shadows that bring the room alive with menace. Evelyn strikes a match, lighting a single candle whose flame immediately starts to flicker and sway as if fighting to remain lit. The clock tower's bells ring out again, signaling an ominous moment as the atmosphere tightens around them. Marcus opens a worn journal discovered among the ruins, Its pages describe a dangerous ritual designed to confront the entity but warn of grave risks involved. The weight of their task settles heavily on their shoulders. With hesitation, Nora hands over her wooden box, explaining in a hushed voice that it contains a charm, a relic passed down through generations of her family. The charm might be their only hope against the darkness that awaits. Resolute, they agree to venture into the forest at nightfall, knowing the entity's presence intensifies there. Evelyn leads the way, the flickering candle a fragile guide through the encroaching gloom. The trio moves cautiously among the twisted, gnarled trees, shadows curling and stretching in unnatural ways around them. Each step forward heightens the tension as the forest seems to close in, alive with unseen eyes. A sudden, chilling whisper brushes past their ears, causing Nora to tremble violently, her grip tightening on the wooden box. The sound seems to mock their resolve, a reminder of the malevolent force trailing them. Marcus swiftly draws a small blade from beneath his coat and signals for absolute silence. From just behind them, faint footsteps echo softly, each step deepening the dread surrounding their fragile group. Evelyn catches a brief glimpse of glowing eyes reflected in a broken shard on the forest floor. The realization strikes them all: the entity is dangerously close, its presence palpable and threatening. The church bells toll one final time, their somber notes hanging in the air before silence falls. This last toll signals the dire stakes. Failure means being consumed by the hollow, lost forever in its merciless grasp. Ghostly cries carry through the night, believed to be the trapped souls lured by the entity's sinister siren call. The mournful sounds chill the trio to their core, fueling both fear and determination. Nora slowly opens the wooden box to reveal an amulet, emitting a cold, eerie blue light that pushes back the enveloping darkness. The faint glow offers a fragile beacon of hope amidst the encroaching shadows. Marcus begins to recite the ritual from the journal, his voice trembling as an unpredictable wind howls through the trees. His words falter, challenged by the rising power of the forest and the entity's presence. Without warning, Evelyn's candle flickers violently before extinguishing completely, plunging them into near-total darkness. Only the amulet's chilling light remains, a solitary shield against the surrounding void. Shadows gather and twist until they form a humanoid silhouette with shifting, haunting features and faintly glowing eyes. The entity has revealed itself, its looming form both terrifying and mesmerizing. The hollow voice of the entity echoes around them, tempting the trio to abandon their quest and flee the cursed village. Its words drip with cunning malice, aiming to break their spirits and resolve. Steeling herself, Evelyn relights her candle using the amulet's glow, the flame flickering but holding strong. The brief flare of light weakens the entity momentarily, offering a slender chance to press on. Marcus steps forward, clutching the locket tightly as he invokes a name from the journal, an ancient word meant to bind the dark presence. His determination is clear, though the air cracks with tension and uncertainty. The entity recoils briefly, but quickly shifts tactics, morphing into haunting figures from each of their pasts. By exploiting their deepest fears, it seeks to unravel their unity and resolve. Nora struggles visibly as the entity takes the form of her lost brother, pleading for her to release her grip on the wooden box. Her conflict is palpable, torn between grief and the necessity of their mission. Evelyn's gaze flickers repeatedly as she catches fleeting glimpses of her reflection in the cracked mirror, which now pulses faintly with a reddish glow. The distorted image unsettles her, as if the mirror holds memories or warnings beyond its fractured surface. Suddenly, the mirror shatters violently, but instead of crashing to the floor, its sharp fragments remain suspended midair as if held by an invisible force. The flickering candlelight casts eerie shadows that dance around the floating shards, heightening the cryptic atmosphere. Among the suspended fragments, one reflects a hidden passage beneath the chapel that had previously gone unnoticed. This glimpse into the underground world appears only through the broken glass shards, suggesting a portal forged by shattered realities. Marcus, bruised but resolute, leads the trio toward the concealed entrance beneath the chapel. He clutches his worn journal tightly, and the old locket around his neck glints faintly in the dim light, anchoring their uncertain path forward. As they descend into the damp underground crypt, the amulet's light flickers erratically, uncertain amidst the oppressive darkness. The walls are carved with ancient symbols, their meanings lost to time but heavy with foreboding significance. A faint chanting echoes softly from deeper within the crypt, its ethereal tones pulsing rhythmically and hinting at the source of the hollow entity's dark powers. The sound swells as they approach, drawing them inexorably toward the heart of the crypt's mysteries. They encounter grotesque, twisted statues resembling long-gone villagers, their distorted features frozen in eternal warning. A shared unease settles over them as they realize that time itself behaves strangely in this subterranean realm, warping their sense of past and present. Without warning, the entity materializes again, its form dissolving into swirling darkness that lashes out to extinguish their flickering resolve. Shadows ripple as it attacks, threatening to swallow their courage along with the faint candlelight. Nora, clutching her wooden box tightly, steps forward and releases a sudden burst of blue light that momentarily drives the entity back. Her steadfast grip on the box brings a fragile but vital reprieve, turning the tide against the encroaching darkness. Evelyn, drawing strength from Nora's light, recites phrases from the journal with steady, determined voice. She lights candles embedded in the crypt walls, arranging them carefully to form a protective circle that gleams against encroaching shadows. The entity's agitation grows palpable as it distorts the crypt's flickering shadows into grotesque and horrifying shapes, writhing like living nightmares. Its desperation fuels the darkness, intending to break through their defenses and extinguish their hope. Marcus takes the locket and angles it to catch the candle flames, reflecting beams into the crypt's darkest corners. This reveals a hidden altar nestled beneath the base of a twisted statue, its presence previously veiled by shadow. They place the amulet on the mysterious altar, and Nora's wooden box begins to hum softly in response, reacting to the crypt's ancient energies. The interconnectedness of their talismans pulsates faintly, signaling an alignment with the ritual's power. The chanting surges louder, and Evelyn identifies it as a binding prayer designed to imprison the entity forever within the crypt. Their voices join in solemn unison, beginning the sacred verses that will seal away the darkness once and for all. As the prayer begins, the hollow entity manifests fully, shrieking in a blend of rage and despair that reverberates through the cold stone. Its glowing eyes burn fiercely, threatening to unravel their combined efforts. Shards of the cracked mirror begin to reassemble midair around the altar, swirling together in a mesmerizing vortex of shifting light and shadow. The chaotic dance of fragments seems to bind the crypt's energy into a swirling prison for the entity. Marcus steps forward to complete the ritual, but an unseen force violently pushes him back, interrupting his advance. He stumbles but holds firm, clutching the locket tightly as if it might protect him from the unseen menace. Nora sacrifices the remaining power of the amulet, unleashing a shimmering shield that envelops Marcus and halts the unseen force's attack. The effort visibly drains her energy, yet her resolve shines bright despite the weakening aura around her. With Nora's sacrifice bought, Evelyn recites the final verse alone, her voice steady against the entity's writhing resistance within the vortex. The entity's glowing eyes dim slowly as it recoils within the binding spell's unyielding grip. With a deafening crack, the vortex collapses inward, and silence envelops the crypt once more. Only the gentle, soft flicker of candlelight remains, marking the end of the entity's menacing presence for now. They ascend from the crypt into the night air, and outside the old church, the bells resume their steady tolling at midnight. The once ominous sound is now calm and inviting, a promising sign of peace restored. Nora opens her wooden box one final time, revealing a small seed emitting a faint, gentle glow. It symbolizes new beginnings and growth after the long darkness that had gripped their lives. Evelyn touches one of the cracked mirrors, remaining dull fragments, now harmless and cold to the touch. A profound sense of closure washes over her, as if the echoes of the past have finally quieted. Marcus removes the old locket and hands it to Evelyn, a token of their shared victory and mutual protection. The gesture seals their bond, forged through hardship and triumph. The village is bathed in the soft light of early dawn, shadows retreating as nature slowly reclaims the silent spaces once haunted by darkness. Hope stirs gently among the empty streets, promising renewal just beyond the horizon. Evelyn's sharp eyes glinted as she explained, the ritual didn't destroy the entity. Instead, it trapped it within the shards of the cracked mirror, scattered throughout the crypt. The flickering candlelight cast uneasy shadows on her faded blue coat as the distant church bells tolled midnight. Nora, clutching her small wooden box tightly, vowed, "I will guard the seed that now holds the essence of our village's spirit and hope." Her curious expression showed determination against the lingering darkness. Marcus, the scar on his right cheek catching the faint glow, nodded firmly, "I'll stay and help restore the village." His resolve marked an end to their wandering and struggle, a new beginning for them all. Together they discovered that the church bells, once twisted by dark influence, now rang clear and true, able to call for aid instead of spreading fear. The sound resonated through the night, a beacon of hope. The trio planted the seed beneath the chapel ruins. Almost instantly, grass and vibrant flowers began to bloom rapidly, enveloping the ancient stones with life and promise. Evelyn stood quietly, reflecting on the sacrifices made. The fragile peace they'd won together felt like a delicate flame, one they must protect at all costs. With great care, Nora locked the broken mirror shards inside her wooden box, securing the remnants of the entity's power. The candlelight flickered again, as if acknowledging her solemn task. Marcus opened the worn journal and wrote a new entry, chronicling the true story to warn future generations. The old locket at his neck caught the candlelight, a silent witness to their journey. As twilight enveloped the village, soft candlelight flickered through windows, a silent remembrance of the horrors they had endured. The distant church bells rang quietly, their sound now gentle and protective. The camera lingered on the blooming seed beneath the chapel ruins, vibrant and alive. A gentle breeze stirred the flowers as the fading echoes of the hollow drifted away, leaving only renewal in their wake. The rain tapped rhythmically against the cracked window of Jake's cluttered office, a pale glow from the street lamp slicing through the fog. Jake lit a cigarette, the smoke curling upwards as he wondered why the dame had walked in looking like trouble with a capital T. She slid a photograph across the desk, eyes darting nervously. "Find him," she whispered, voice trembling more than her hands. Jake examined the photo, a man with a crooked smile, standing in an alleyway Jake knew too well. No questions asked, no promises made, but the cash in her hand decided the rest. The trail led to neon-lit bars and shadowed backstreets. Whispers of the crooked smiles, misdeeds crawling through the city's underbelly. A bartender with tired eyes passed a coded note between gritted teeth. "He's not alone." Jake's fingers brushed the cool barrel of his. 38 under the coat, a quiet reassurance in the stormy night. At the docks, moonlight danced on water slick with oil. A meeting was set, stakes higher than ever. The crooked smile appeared, flanked by two goons whose silence screamed danger. Quick words exchanged, then a sudden scuffle, fists and fears colliding in the mist. Jake ducked, rolling beneath a swing, the crackle of gunfire sinking with his pounding heart. Amid the chaos, he caught a glimpse of the dame, eyes wide, fighting shadows of her own. A flash of steel, a gasp, and then the crooked smile's desperate plea for mercy. Jake stepped back, breathing heavy. "This city's got secrets," he said, "but it's time someone told the truth." With the crooked smile tied up and the dame safe, dawn began to pry open the night's secrets. Jake watched the horizon blush with morning, the rain finally stopping. "Case closed," he muttered, pocketing the last of the damning evidence, the city breathing easier for a moment. As the dame disappeared into the awakening streets, Jake lit another cigarette, ready for whatever night would throw next. "In a city of shadows," he mused, "sometimes the only light is knowing you did the right thing." Beneath the twilight sky, a faint glow shimmered within the heart of the ancient crystal grove. Lyra, a young mage whose lineage whispered of forgotten powers, stepped cautiously onto the crystalline path. The grove's delicate trees sparkled with otherworldly light, each leaf a prism reflecting countless colors. "They say only the pure can unlock the ember's flame." A voice echoed softly, the wind carrying ancient secrets. Determined, Lyra approached the central pedestal where a single ember flickered faintly, its light dimming with every breath. The air thickened as memories of her ancestors stirred in the shadows, calling her to prove her worth. With hands trembling but heart steady, Lyra reached out, feeling the ember's warmth seep into her soul. Visions danced before her eyes, trials faced, sacrifices made, and the grove's survival hanging by a thread. Gathering her courage, she whispered the ancient incantation passed down through generations. The ember flared brilliantly, casting vibrant hues over the grove, as if awakening a long-dormant spirit. Trees leaned closer, their crystalline leaves chiming softly like bells in the breeze. Lyra's eyes sparkled with newfound strength. The ember's glow infused her with a gentle, radiant power. "The bond is restored," she murmured, feeling the grove pulse with life around her. Suddenly, a burst of light arced from her palms, spreading warmth over the frost-bitten earth. Tiny sprouts began to emerge, shimmering flowers blossoming where cold once lingered. The grove hummed a melody of renewal, its magic weaving seamlessly into the fabric of the world. Lyra smiled, knowing she had rekindled an ancient promise between nature and mage. As night embraced the sky, the crystal grove shone brighter than ever, a beacon of hope and magic. "Every ending holds a beginning," the whisper returned, fading into the gentle rustle of leaves. Lyra turned away with a peaceful heart, the ember's light guiding her journey beyond the grove's shimmering gates. The device blinked softly in the dim light, its screen flickering with an indecipherable code. Lena's fingers hovered over the console, heart racing. The last transmission from Earth's lost colony was captured in those symbols. Across the barren wasteland, the wind whispered secrets of what had gone wrong centuries ago. "If this works," Lena murmured, "we'll know the truth." She initiated the sequence. Suddenly, a holographic projection burst to life, swirling with images of a fading world and desperate voices. The voices told tales of isolation, strange mutations, and a breakthrough that promised salvation but vanished before fruition. Lena's eyes widened as she pieced together the story. A desperate experiment to communicate beyond the known universe had backfired. The projection shifted, showing a figure reaching outward, enveloped in luminous energy before disappearing entirely. Each image conveyed not just loss but a warning, a puzzle that begged to be solved. Determined, Lena adjusted the device's settings, aiming to send a response through the temporal rift the colony had opened. The machine hummed louder, the air charged with anticipation as she sent a plea for connection and understanding. Suddenly, a reply flickered back, clearer this time, a message of hope and reconciliation from the echoes of the past. Lena smiled softly, feeling the weight of isolation begin to lift. She realized the colony's fate was no longer lost, but part of a larger dialogue woven through time and space. The device quieted, the holograms fading into gentle light as if saying goodbye. Outside, the barren wasteland seemed less empty, filled now with possibility and unseen life. "We're not alone," Lena said, voice steady, "and maybe, just maybe, we never were." Packing up the device, she felt an unfamiliar warmth, a connection bridging centuries and stars. As she prepared to return to the main base, Lena glanced once more at the horizon, where the first faint signals of dawn began to glow. With newfound hope, she stepped forward, ready to share the echoes that would change humanity's story forever. In the heart of an ancient city stood a peculiar clock shop, its windows fogged with mystery and time. Marla, a thief known for precision rather than chaos, eyed the legendary timekeeper, a jewel rumored to be hidden inside the grandest timepiece in the shop. No ordinary gem, the timekeeper was said to control moments, bending seconds in favor of its holder. Marla didn't believe in magic, but in timing and skill, and tonight they had to be flawless. Slipping through a narrow alley, she approached the shop at midnight, when shadows were her only company. The shop's bell chimed softly as she slipped in, greeted only by the ticking of countless clocks surrounding her. Navigating the maze of shelves, her eyes locked onto the colossal grandfather clock, adorned with intricate carvings. Inside, behind a hidden panel, nestled the timekeeper, a glowing blue orb pulsating with quiet power. A whisper in the darkness warned her, "Take care, time twists for those who tamper." Marla smirked, deft hands disabling the alarm with practiced ease before lifting the orb gently. Suddenly, the shop transformed. The clocks accelerated wildly, their hands spinning like storm winds. Time lapsed erratically. Seconds stretched, then snapped fast, disorienting her senses. She clenched the orb tightly, focusing beyond the chaos as her escape route melted and reformed. With a final breath, Marla seized a moment when time slowed, leapt through a shuttered window, landing outside in stillness. The city around her resumed its regular rhythm as she sprinted into the night, orb secure. Back in the safety of her lair, Marla placed the timekeeper on the table, the air still humming with its strange energy. She smiled, knowing control over time was never about power. It was about moments seized and never wasted. The orb glowed softer now, as if content in its new hands, awaiting the next perfect second to shine. Marla whispered, "Time is mine, for now," and set the clock hands to midnight, beginning a new chapter. Outside, the city continued unaware, wrapped in endless hours, while a thief held the master key to every ticking second. The silent hum of the abandoned space station was broken by a single, unexpected ping on the outdated console. Captain Alara, the last crew member, stared in disbelief as the screen flickered to life with a strange, undecipherable frequency. "This can't be right," she muttered, her fingers trembling as she tried to trace the origin of the signal. Outside the viewport, distant stars twinkled coldly, indifferent to the lonely outpost's mystery. Determined, Alara adjusted the receiver, isolating the pattern embedded within the noise, an encrypted message. Her breath caught when the message resolved into words, chilling and clear. "Help us. Repeat, help us." Memories flashed back, the doomed crew that vanished decades ago, whispers of an experiment gone wrong. With renewed purpose, she initiated the station's ancient transmission array, aiming to send a rescue beacon. As the signal soared into the void, the station's systems flickered, awakening something deep within its core. Suddenly, the lights revealed a hidden chamber, untouched by time, illuminated by pulsating alien technology. Ilara stepped inside, her heart pounding as mechanical limbs extended from the walls, assembling a strange device. A message and a cure, she realized, left behind by those who never returned. She connected the device to the mainframe, watching as data streamed in, revealing a way to reverse the catastrophe. Time was short. The station's instability grew, threatening to tear it apart. Working quickly, Ilara uploaded the cure to the distress signal, transforming it into a beacon of salvation. The console beeped erratically, then fell silent as the station stabilized. The unseen threat dissipated. Outside, rescue ships appeared on the horizon, answering the beacon's new call. As the doors desynchronized and opened, Ilara stepped toward the arriving crew, hope rekindled. "Echoes of the past saved us," she whispered, "and now we bring them home." The space station, no longer a tomb, but a testament to perseverance, as new beginnings unfolded beneath distant stars. Ira wakes slowly in a village blanketed by the soft embrace of dawn mist, her fingers tightening around a pendant with two intertwined flames that seem to shimmer with a quiet warmth. From the edge of the dense woods, Kale emerges, the subtle glow of his flame-shaped birthmark pulsing faintly as he watches Ira with guarded eyes, assessing the strange quiet. The village elder's voice trembles as he warns them of the restless shadows brewing just beyond the veil, an unseen boundary pregnant with ancient dangers lurking in silence. Ira discovers the pendant responds to the growing shadows near the village's edge, a rhythmic pulsing light that casts fleeting reflections resembling twin flames dancing in the gloom. Suddenly, a haunting howl pierces the misty air, and ethereal spirit wolves with faint blue glows gather, circling the village boundary like silent sentinels harboring untold secrets. Kale steps forward, offering Ira guidance beyond the veil to find the Veilkeeper, whose wisdom is said to hold the elusive answers they desperately seek. Together, they step into the thickening mist, where shadows twist and shapes flicker in and out of perception, turning the path ahead uncertain and alive with hidden movement. Ira's pendant intensifies its glow, casting broken images that morph into a shattered mirror held together by reflections of twin flames, symbols of an unspoken rift. A shadowy figure materializes to block their way, its form shifting in the mist, but the flare of Ira's pendant forces it to waver and dissolve like smoke in the wind. On the forest floor lies a broken mirror, its shards catching slivers of faint light and etched with mysterious, hidden symbols that seem to pulse with ancient energy. Touching one shard, Ira is overwhelmed by a vision, the Veilkeeper gripping a staff crowned with a glowing shard, standing amid swirling mist and shadow. Kale's voice breaks the trance, warning that instability courses through the veil, and crossing it may mean becoming lost to the encroaching shadows forever. Pressing onward, the mist thickens into living forms, whispers of past travelers caught between worlds, their twisted shapes reaching toward Ira and Kale with silent cries. A spirit wolf appears, exuding a protective aura before vanishing as they advance, leaving only the echo of its glowing eyes behind. They arrive at the glowing boundary, where the veil pulses like a fragile heartbeat, flickering unpredictably as if threatening to shatter under unseen pressure. Crossing the threshold, the world warps around them. The shadows elongate, and the twin flames on Ira's pendant flicker anxiously in the shifting air. Within the mist, the Veilkeeper emerges, cloaked in woven shadows that ripple with whispered secrets, eyes fixed with awe and caution on the pendant clasped in Ira's hand. The Veilkeeper's challenge is clear. They must confront the shadow within themselves, a trial to prove their worth amid the twisted mists and fractured truths. Ira faces a shadowy double, her mirror image, who voices doubts and fears, challenging every conviction she holds about her own intentions and strength. Kale's flame birthmark pulses fiercely as he confronts his own darkness, revealing a hidden, jagged scar beneath, a secret he's borne quietly until now. The Veilkeeper nods solemn approval, deeming their inner confrontations sufficient, and grants passage toward the enigmatic heart of the veil. Suddenly, the mist fractures into swirling shards of broken mirrors, each reflecting divergent paths and possible fates, shimmering ominously around them. Ira watches as the flames on her pendant tremble and split, flickering uncertainly between unity and division, echoing the fractured futures surrounding them. A voice murmurs from the shadows, seeping into their minds, whispers of doubt and mistrust designed to fracture their bond and turn them against one another. Kale grips Ira's hand, steadying her trembling spirit, reminding her that the twin flames are strongest when united by trust and unwavering resolve. Together, Ira and Kale confront the swirling illusions whispering deceit around them. As they break each falsehood, the pendant in Ira's hand flares brilliantly, its twin flames weaving stronger strands of light. Amid the dissipating mist, the Veilkeeper materializes once more, his form cloaked in shifting shadows and woven mist. He speaks solemnly, revealing the veil as not a barrier, but a test of balance between opposing forces. Through the Veilkeeper's words, they grasp the peril concealed, a rift dividing two realms, threatening collapse unless harmony is restored. The fragile weave between world strains, mirrored in the silver flickers of mist around them. From the depths emerges a specter of chaos, a formless shadow feeding on the fractured reflections and broken trust between realms. Its presence distorts the air, splintering shadows as it seeks to unravel their fragile unity. Stepping forward, Ira holds the pendant high, twin flames radiating fiercely to bind the fractured shards of their reality. Her emerald eyes burn with resolve, the pendant's glow threading warm light through the creeping shadows. Kale takes his place beside her, his flame-shaped birthmark igniting fiercely as he stands guard. He wards off the attacking shadows, his stoic stance a bulwark against the chaos seeking to tear them apart. With a surge of fury, the Chaos Spectre lashes out, cracking the ground beneath them and scattering the swirling mist into fragmented wisps. The air chills as fractures deepen, threatening to sever their fragile hold on balance. The violent upheaval separates Ira and Kale momentarily, thrusting them into solitary trials shaped by their deepest fears. Each faces a gauntlet of shadows, the twin flames dampened yet flickering still. Ira's fear manifests as a phantom village set ablaze, flames licking the air with haunting familiarity. But she clutches the pendant tightly, its warmth anchoring her against the searing illusions of loss. Kale confronts a shadow self, a murmured echo embodying his silent regrets and lost hopes. His birthmark pulses defiantly, as he battles this darker reflection to reclaim his inner strength. Reunited amidst the scattering mist, Ira and Kale combine their strength, reigniting the twin flames within the pendant. Their bond stabilizes the fractured veil, the glow molding reality anew around them. The Veilkeeper appears once again, shadows parting to reveal a deeper truth. The pendant once belonged to a forgotten union of flame and shadow. Their intertwined legacy holds the key to harmonious balance. He tasks them with restoring the pendant's full power to mend the rift permanently. Only through embracing both light and darkness can the fragile veil be healed. Guided by fading echoes, Ira and Kale journey to an ancient temple etched in mist and stone, its air thick with whispered histories. There, they seek to reignite the twin flames and fulfill the Veilkeeper's charge. Inside the temple's shadowed halls, they place the pendant on an altar carved in the shape of intertwined flames. Yet the pendant glows only faintly, as if awaiting a missing piece to complete its power. Shadows shift and rise within the temple, testing once more the delicate balance between light and dark. The air hums with tension as the twin motifs of fire and shadow reach toward one another, hesitating on the edge of union. Ira recalls the broken mirrors glimpsed outside, understanding that unity requires reassembling all shards into one seamless reflection. The fractured image is a symbol of their own divided strength needing repair. Kale moves through the temple, collecting fragments embedded in walls and floors, each shard catching flickers of twin flames. Piece by piece, he gathers the remnants, his birthmark glowing softly in the shadowed gloom. Together, they assemble the mirror around the pendant, the twin flames surging brighter with every joined shard. The reflection ripples, the veil responding to their combined devotion and harmony. The completed mirror pulses with waves of light and shadow harmonizing through the veil. The air vibrates with a renewed balance, shadows receding as order weaves through broken realms. The rift stabilizes, reality solidifies, and the shrouds of mist lift, unveiling the world's renewed edge. A fragile piece emerges, held together by the twin flames burning defiantly within their hearts. The Veilkeeper expresses gratitude, shedding his woven mists to reveal his true form, an eternal guardian forged from flame and shadow. His presence embodies the delicate balance they have fought to restore. Ira and Kale feel the pendant warm in their hands, now a living symbol of balance and shared destiny tied eternally by twin flames. The glow weaves between them, a silent promise of unity against future storms. Passing back through the dissipated veil, the village mist clears completely, revealing spectral wolves no longer ominous, but transformed into vigilant guardians. Their faint blue glow speaks of protection and newfound harmony. The village elder greets them warmly, sensing the changed air, lighter, filled with promise and hope. The renewal they have kindled is tangible, a quiet blessing carried on the breeze through the streets. Ira held the pendant carefully, her emerald eyes reflecting its twin flames intertwined in delicate silver. She revealed that the pendant was a binding relic forged in ancient times to maintain harmony between the mortal world and the veil beyond. It symbolized the fragile balance that once united the two realms before their fracture scattered truth like shards of a broken mirror. As Ira spoke, Kale's flame-shaped birthmark on his left arm flickered and faded slightly, the change subtle yet profound. This signified his emerging role as a healer of the fractured veil, a bridge mending the rift between shadow and light. The motif of twin flames now pulsed softly within him, connecting him to the relic's ancient power. The village erupted into celebration, lighting twin flame bonfires that danced beneath the twilight sky. These fires honored Ira and Kale, whose union had restored balance long lost. The flames flickered in unison, a luminous tribute to the renewed harmony that embraced both realms once more. At the edge of the festivities, Ira and Kale exchanged a knowing glance, their gazes drifting together toward the horizon. In that quiet moment, the weight and depth of their shared destiny settled firmly between them. They understood that their path forward was intertwined like the twin flames adorning Ira's pendant. From the shadowed forest at the village's edge, spectral wolves emerged, their faint blue glow casting ethereal light. Once menacing spirits, they now stood silently as steadfast guardians, protectors of the newfound peace. Their presence was a living testament to the healing woven through the realm's mend. Near the ceremonial altar, the Veilkeeper's staff remained embedded in the earth, its glowing shard pulsing with soft light. The staff stood as a beacon for future guardians tasked with preserving the delicate balance. Mist swirled gently at its base, a quiet reminder of the mysteries still held within the veil's depths. Under the Veilkeeper's watchful shadow, Ira carefully inscribed fresh runes onto the pendant's silver surface. Each rune fortified the relic's power, weaving purpose into its flame-shaped embrace. The mist seemed to deepen around her, lending an otherworldly solemnity to the ritual. Kale gathered the village children beneath tall trees, their faces illuminated by flickering firelight. He taught them stories of balance, explaining how light and shadow must coexist as natural parts of life. His voice steady, Kale passed on the wisdom that would guard their world for generations. As night fully descended, twin flames burned brightly atop the village hearths, casting long shadows that intertwined with strands of silver mist. This fiery emblem symbolized unity and perseverance in the face of fractured truths. The villagers stood together, hearts steady, beneath the endless sky. Hand in hand beneath the tapestry of stars, Ira and Kale stood quietly as the pendant's soft glow mirrored the twin flames above. Their story, once woven from scattered shards, now blended seamlessly into the fabric of the veil's enduring harmony. In this moment, destiny and duality became one unbroken flame, eternal and bright. Rain slicked Ali's blurred area's quick steps as she clutched the small red data chip tightly, anxiety flickering in her sharp eyes. Behind her, city lights cast fractured shadows, broken clocks ticking faintly in the distance. She slipped through the cracked doorway of a dim apartment, where Dex awaited, his tattooed sleeve visible beneath the rolled-up fabric. His impatient gaze met hers, the tension thick in the cramped room. Under the flickering overhead light, Dex inspected the red data chip, suspicion brewing between them. Words were exchanged sharply, betraying their fragile trust in the dangerous game they played. Outside, beyond the rain-streaked window, shadowy figures lingered unseen. Their fleeting reflections shimmered within a cracked mirror hanging awkwardly by the entrance, silently observing. Mara's gloved fingers danced expertly over the security terminal, cracking through dense encryption with ease. Her eyes fixed, determined, as the locked secrets began to yield. A broken clock on the wall ticked uneven rhythms, its hands stuttering in defiance of time. Suddenly, the quiet was pierced by a beep, signaling an incoming encrypted message. Aria's fingers traced the message's cryptic lines, revealing chilling warnings tied to the red data chip's unknown dangers. The weight of the revelation pressed hard against her resolve. From the shadows, the broker's distorted voice crackled ominously through an old radio device. Threats echoed clearly: surrender the chip or face dire consequences beyond their reckoning. Dex slammed his fist against the table, anger flashing over his tattooed arm as blueprints and wires scattered. Frustration twisted in the cramped air, tensions mounting between them all. Mara offered a daring plan, an infiltration of the data vault where the chip had originated. It was risky, but the only chance to unravel the web of deceit surrounding them. Aria hesitated, a haunting memory stirring. A broken clock stopped at midnight, symbolizing lost chances. Doubt flickered momentarily across her sharp features. With determination set, the team readied themselves, the red data chip nestled securely in Aria's jacket pocket. The fractured ticking of clocks outside seemed to count down their fate. Dex methodically checked his gear, the glow of a neon sign casting light across his tattooed arm. His focus was unyielding, the city's restless pulse echoing through the room. At her console, Mara manipulated traffic cameras, her gloved hands orchestrating a diversion to cover their anticipated escape. The city's network became their battlefield. Suddenly, the apartment door shattered inward. Shadowy pursuers stormed in. The urgency of their situation erupted as danger closed rapidly around them. A tense and frantic chase spilled onto rain-slick streets, with Aria deftly navigating the narrow passages. The red data chip's burden weighed on her as every second counted. Dex engaged assailants with striking prowess, his tattooed arm a blur in the melee, while Mara remotely sabotaged their pursuers' escape routes. Their coordinated efforts kept hope alive. They dove into an abandoned warehouse, greeted only by a haunting trail of broken clocks stopped at various fragmented times. The eerie stillness deepened the mystery they faced. Among the debris, Aria spotted a silver locket, its clasp cracked and worn, stirring unsettling familiarity. Suspicion gnawed at her. Was this a link to a ghost from their past? Mara's gloved hands delicately decoded the intricate engravings etched into the locket. Hidden messages emerged, revealing a betrayal by an informant they had once trusted. Dex confronted the informant through a faceless hologram, the broker's looming presence cast as a dark shadow over the exchange. The unseen enemy tightened its grip. Forced to divide, the team pursued scattered clues tied to the broken clocks dotting the city. Each path carried risk, threading deeper into the web of deception woven around them. Arya uncovered a hidden shipment manifest connected to the origins of the red data chip, intensifying the stakes. The puzzle was unraveling, but the danger escalated with each discovery. Mara hit a sudden lockout while hacking, her gloves briefly glowing as she pushed past the barrier. Innovation and persistence became their only weapons against digital defenses closing in. Suddenly ambushed, Dex narrowly escaped, using his tattooed arm's hidden signal to summon a shadowy ally. The fragile line between friend and foe blurred in the shadowed streets. Arya moved silently through the dimly lit clockmaker's shop, her sharp eyes scanning the myriad of broken clocks that adorned the walls. Among the shattered gears and dusty faces, she discovered a coded map hidden beneath a panel, its design mirroring the recurring motif of fractured timepieces. The map's lines intertwined with images of broken clock faces, hinting at a secret path. Suddenly, every clock in the shop chimed in eerie unison, a disorienting cacophony that froze Arya in place. As the echoes faded, a section of the floor subtly slid open, revealing a hidden passage cloaked in shadow. The broken clocks looming around framed this critical moment, underscoring the urgency of her discovery. Miles away, Mara's pale fingers danced over her keyboard, her fingerless gloves flexing as she intercepted an encrypted communication. The message warned of a massive data theft slated for midnight, sending a chill through the team. The red data chip, though not yet in her hands, had been referenced cryptically within the transmission. Dex appeared suddenly beside Arya, his muscular frame tense as he examined the fragments of the map she had uncovered. Piecing together details from the shipment manifest, he connected the dots that hinted at the scale and timing of the impending heist. Their reunion was brief but charged, the background clocks ticking ominously. From the shadows, the broker tightened his control, dispatching assassins whose distorted voices and shadowy forms moved like phantoms in the night. Their presence was an unspoken threat, signaling that no step the trio took would be unchallenged. The broken clocks in the environment seemed to mock their fragile grasp on time and safety. Cornered and outnumbered, the team was forced to split, each member vanishing into different alleys and byways. This narrow escape tested their trust and revealed fissures in their alliance as doubts and fears crept in. The broken clock motif lingered in the background, a reminder that every second counted and their unity was fragile. Later, Arya confronted Mara, her voice edged with frustration over the withheld truths about the red data chip's potential. Mara's gloves remained visible as she hesitated, the tension thick between them. The exchange was sharp, exposing cracks in their shared mission and the stakes they faced. Mara finally unveiled the chip's secret. It was a digital key capable of unlocking vast and hidden corners of the city's surveillance network. This revelation deepened the stakes, showing the scope of the broker's ambitions and the power the chip held. Their breath hung heavy in the air, punctuated by the distant ticking of broken clocks. Meanwhile, Dex grappled with his own conflicts, memories of the intricate tattoo sleeve on his left arm flashing in his mind. These flashbacks linked his past loyalty with his current resolve, grounding him in purpose amidst uncertainty. The tattoo, inked with symbolic gears, seemed to pulse in rhythm with the broken clocks around him. The broker struck back anonymously, sabotaging their communications with waves of interference. Each team's connection faltered, isolating them in their individual spheres of danger. The broken clocks in the background fell silent, underscoring the growing chaos and their vulnerability. Arya arrived at a desolate tower, the final clock looming above Frozen at midnight, the very hour planned for the heist. Time seemed to stand still as she prepared to confront the endgame. The broken clock hands pointed relentlessly toward urgency and inevitability. Within the tower, Mara's gloves moved deftly over her equipment, bypassing intricate security systems with rapid taps. Her pale features set in concentration, she fought against digital barriers to clear the path for her team. Around her, faint clock faces flickered on monitors, their fractures echoing the theme of fractured time. Dex intercepted a courier clutching a red envelope, the color matching the data chip that had come to symbolize their mission. This envelope held a critical piece of the broker's plan, shifting their understanding and strategy. Even as neon lights flickered, broken clocks hung ominously nearby, framing the hidden threat. Together, the team narrowly avoided a trap set beneath the tower's foundation, illuminated just enough by failing neon signs to reveal danger. They moved swiftly, the atmosphere thick with tension and uncertainty. Broken clocks in the area seemed to almost count down their fleeting chance for survival. Mara disabled a swarm of surveillance drones overhead, her gloves glowing faintly as she fought digital battles. This gave Arya and Dex a narrow window of opportunity to advance, their movements urgent and calculated. The broken clock motif lingered, a silent witness to their desperate push forward. Inside the tower's heart, Arya's eyes caught a cracked mirror reflecting her tense, focused expression. The fragmented glass paralleled the fractured timeline they struggled against, reminding her that time was slipping away. The palpable pressure of the impending heist bore down as the clock struck closer to midnight. Dex confronted a shadowy figure cloaked beneath a hood, a mask shaped like a broken clock hiding the intruder's identity. Their brief encounter was charged with danger and uncertainty, the clock motifs on the mask echoing the pervasive theme of lost time. The silhouette's movements were swift, leaving Dex questioning who stood before him. A fierce struggle revealed the broker's true agenda: dominion over the city's invisible digital web, manipulating every unseen strand. This battle was not just physical but ideological, the broken clocks serving as a backdrop to a power struggle over time and control. The stakes had escalated beyond what the trio imagined. Mara launched a counterhack, her gloves glowing fiercely as she engaged in a digital duel with the broker's sophisticated code. The flashy lights and flurries of data in the tower's control room painted a vivid picture of their hidden war. Every keystroke was a battle for the city's surveillance future. Victory seemed within reach until the broker unleashed a devastating final trap, fracturing the entire data network across the city. Alarms blared as systems faltered and chaos erupted. The broken clocks seemed to shatter metaphorically, symbolizing disrupted time and control. The screen of their devices faded to black amid the blaring alarms, the broken clocks ceasing there, ticking in an eerie silence. The blackout left them helpless and isolated, dangling in the dark void of uncertainty. Time itself felt suspended, the motif now hauntingly literal. In isolation, Arya's thoughts drifted to the silver locket with its broken clasp, a tangible symbol of unfinished business and fractured bonds. Memories of its meaning stirred resolve within her, fueling a flicker of hope. Even in the absence of time, connections lingered. Suddenly, Mara's voice crackled through a hidden communication channel, calm and urging focus amidst the chaos. Her message was a lifeline, reminding the team of their shared mission and the strength in unity. The sound rekindled a fragile thread of trust. Dex carefully repaired a small, intricate device embedded within his tattoo, the motions steady and skilled. The device sparked to life, restoring the delicate communication lines that had been severed. The broken clocks in the background began to faintly tick once more, signaling renewed hope. The team reconvened at the tower's apex, the red data chip pulsing subtly in Arya's grip like a heartbeat. Around them, remnants of broken clocks framed the bleak city skyline, time still fractured but not defeated. Their unity, fragile yet resolute, poised them for the final confrontation ahead. The red data chip, once thought to be a weapon, reveals itself as a key to restoring the stolen digital memories held hostage by the broker. Arya studies it carefully, realizing its potential to unlock what was lost rather than destroy. Mara, gloves firmly on, connects the chip to her portable device, triggering a wave of data that slowly reverses the blackout. Around them, broken clocks begin their synchronized ticking once more, filling the air with a hopeful rhythm. In a rare moment, the broker's shadowy mask falters, revealing a familiar face etched with pain and regret, someone deeply tied to their shared past struggles. This glimpse casts new light on the contours of their conflict. Dex steps forward, his tattooed arm glowing softly as he faces the broker. His voice is steady, embodying both forgiveness and strength, breaking through years of silence between them. Arya slides the red chip into the central console. Streams of data flood the system, revealing hidden conspiracies buried deep beneath layers of deception. The room hums with newfound energy, secrets unfolding before their eyes. Citywide systems awaken, lights flicker back to life, while long-held shadows retreat into forgotten corners. The faint ticking of clocks syncs with the resurgence of order and control. Mara finally removes her fingerless gloves, a silent symbol of trust restored as the complex digital web begins to heal. Technology feels less like a barrier and more like a bridge between them. The broken clocks scattered across the city start moving forward in unison, marking the dawn of a new chapter. Time, once lost, now regains its steady, purposeful flow. From the high tower, Arya, Dex, and Mara watch the sunrise breaking through rain-streaked glass, their silhouettes dark against the light. The scene breathes relief, unity, and the promise of what lies ahead. In Arya's hand, the silver locket glints softly, now repaired and whole. It symbolizes the closure of their ordeal and stands as a quiet promise of vigilance and hope for the future. A fierce storm drove Mira's small boat toward the jagged coast of an island that wasn't on any map. She clung to her oars as waves crashed, finally collapsing on the rocky shore, breathless but alive. The island was silent, except for the whisper of the wind weaving through twisted trees. Mira stood, brushing seaweed from her hair, spotting a dim light flickering through the dense forest. Curious, she ventured toward the glow, her footsteps crunching over dry leaves. Suddenly, a low growl echoed. A shadow slipped between the trees, eyes gleaming. Heart pounding, Mira remembered the stories her grandfather told. This was the lair of the island's guardian beast. But the light called her onward, promising answers tied to the legends she'd chased all her life. Deeper in the woods, she found a clearing where the light came from an old, intricately carved lantern hanging from a stone pillar. Beneath it, an ancient map etched into the rock, showing a hidden cavern beneath the island. The growl returned, closer this time, but as Mira reached for the lantern, a large wolf stepped into view, calm and watchful. She lowered her hand, meeting the wolf's eyes. Instead of fear, she saw a knowing spark, a silent invitation. Together, they made their way to the cavern entrance, the wolf leading confidently, as if this place belonged to it alone. Inside, tetrahedrons of light from crystals guided their path through twisting tunnels. At the chamber's heart, Mira uncovered a cavern of shimmering stones, their energy humming beneath her fingertips. The map revealed the stones held power to calm storms, why her boat had survived, why she had been drawn here. As she touched a crystal, the wolf nuzzled her hand, as if approving the island's secret keeper was found. Mira lit the ancient lantern again, promising the wolf she'd protect the island's secrets and respect its fierce guardian. The storm cleared, sunlight breaking through the canopy. The wolf vanished into the shadows, the island now peaceful. Rowing home, Mira smiled, knowing some adventures are not just about discovery, but guardianship too. Ava stood on the rooftop, rain slicking shards of glass reflecting neon lights beneath her. She gripped the ancient circuit pendant hanging from her neck tightly, her violet eyes absorbing every fractured reflection of the sprawling city below. In a dimly lit room with flickering bulbs, Kale methodically adjusted the worn joints of his mechanical arm. Outside, shadows danced with the passing crowds, their hurried movements contrasting his focused solitude. Lyra hovered near the cluttered workbench, her spherical blue core pulsing gently in the dim light. With precision, she scanned layers of encrypted data, algorithms shifting like the shards of shattered glass around her. A cryptic message flashed suddenly on Ava's holopad, fragmented lines of code interspersed with a broken glass symbol. The city's rain-drenched neon reflected subtly against the screen, mirroring the confusion in her eyes. Massive screens across the city suddenly flickered, presenting a glimpse of the overseer's faceless hologram framed by floating shards of glass before scrambling into static. The ominous warning rippled through the fabric of the neon-lit metropolis. In a narrow alley bathed in fading neon graffiti, Kale's intense eyes met Ava's as he approached silently. An urgent tension clung to the air, the city's dimming lights echoing their unspoken concerns. Lyra projected a shimmering 3D map, red nodes flashing erratically over the unstable sectors, threatening to fracture the city's grid. Each pulsing point mirrored the increasing fragility of time itself. At her cluttered desk scattered with shards of broken glass, Ava leaned in, her violet eyes reflecting the fractured code she painstakingly decoded. The patterns seemed to twist and fragment with each attempt, mocking her resolve. They strategized in hushed tones, the dark alley around them alive with flickers of neon light. The plan to infiltrate the central network hub carried the weight of shattered memories and uncertain futures. Ava's fingers tightened around the small device resembling her pendant, wires glowing faintly blue as she made final adjustments. The pulsing light mirrored Lyra's core, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. Suddenly, Ava's mind fractured, as if her memories slipped through shattered glass, folding images of a lost friend into indistinct blurs. The visage dissolved into glitching shards that danced behind her closed eyelids. Kale equipped his mechanical arm, revealing a concealed interface humming with latent power. Despite its wear, the arm's resilience gleamed as he prepared for the digital storm ahead. Like a silent shadow, Lyra slipped through narrow vents toward the city's network heart. Her core brightened as she sent pulses forward, weaving through the tangled data streams like shards of glass in a maze. Abruptly, the city plunged into darkness, neon lights shattered into voids of colorless blackness. The sudden silence was unsettling, broken only by the distant drip of rain on fractured glass. Ava and Kale exchanged tense, knowing glances amid the quiet streets shadowed by failing neon. Alarms echoed faintly, a chilling reminder that the stakes were no less than their memories and lives. Within the digital network, Lyra confronted a firewall whose edges shimmered and morphed like broken fragments of glass slicing through the data. Its shifting form challenged her every attempt to advance. Navigating through dark, neon-dappled alleyways, Ava and Kale moved with extreme caution. Reflections fractured and flickered across wet pavement, distorting reality as time seemed to unravel around them. Without warning, a swarm of intercepted drones encircled Lyra, their movements sharp and coordinated. Her blue core pulsed rapidly, alarmed as she scrambled to decode the persistent, fragmented signature within. Kale's mechanical arm flared to life, plasma emitters igniting as he battled security bots in sudden bursts of light. Sparks flew, illuminating the night in stark contrast to the dimming neon skyline. Ava knelt before a cracked terminal, inserting the pendant-like device which glowed faintly blue. Her hands trembled slightly, the risky override casting fractured reflections of hope and dread across her face. Suddenly, the Overseer's hologram materialized amidst floating shards of fractured glass, its faceless form menacing and sharp. It spoke in cold echoes, warning of dire consequences should they proceed further. Lyra narrowly escaped the tightening digital trap, her core pulsing with urgent intensity as the code fought back with ever-growing resistance. Frustrated yet undeterred, she retreated to regroup. Memories surged violently within Ava's mind, visions of a city before its fracture flooded her in wavelets. Faces blurred behind glitching glass fragments, the lost friend's image obscured, elusive as a fading dream. Kale hacked a utility grid beneath the neon glow, sending cascades of flickering lights through the city. The sudden bursts masked their movements, turning shadowy streets into a fragmented dance of light and dark. Beneath the city's foundations, they uncovered a hidden chamber lined with fragmented mirrors reflecting tangled realities. Each surface fractured their reflections and distorted time, hinting at deeper secrets beneath the fractured world. Lyra's blue core pulses rapidly as she projects streams of coded warnings across the dimmed cityscape, cautioning that any further tampering with the network could trigger a catastrophic collapse. Flickering data cascades like shattered glass shards, reflecting the urgency imbued in her synthetic voice. Ava studies the warning carefully, her violet eyes reflecting the fractured patterns on every digital screen around them. Suddenly, through a haze of glitching holograms, Ava glimpses a spectral image flickering like broken glass, an apparition of her lost friend. The figure's features are distorted, fragmented between reality and memory, tugging at emotions buried deep. The ancient circuit pendant around Ava's neck seems to resonate faintly, as if reacting to the apparition's presence. In a quiet corner, Kale's mechanical arm emits an unstable hum, joints trembling with an odd current. Doubt shadows his ash-gray eyes as he questions their chances against the Overseer's growing control. Yet, his grip on Ava's shoulder strengthens, determination flickering in the worn but resilient mechanisms of his limb. The Overseer responds with ruthless aggression, intensifying its digital assault, waves of corrupt data ripple through the city's once vibrant holograms. Shattered glass motifs fracture further, casting eerie reflections as neon lights dim under the assault. The faceless entity's presence looms large, its fragmented holograms shifting unsettlingly in the shadows. Amidst the chaos, Ava deciphers a hidden pattern woven in the digital shards, fragments of trapped memories scattered within the corrupted system. They are broken, yet not lost, hinting at a path to recovery. Her pendant flickers softly, guiding her through the labyrinth of displaced time and fractured reality. The trio rushes into a chamber where the digital and physical worlds blend, the air thick with distortion. Reality itself cracks around them, splintering like shattered glass as time fragments warp the environment. Neon hues flicker unnaturally, casting eerie shadows across the fractured space. Lyra sacrifices part of her core energy, the blue light dimming briefly, to stabilize the shifting digital environment enveloping them. Sparks fly in cascades of faint light, and a temporary calm settles over the chaos. Her sacrifice anchors the turbulent data streams, granting the team precious moments to act. As the fracturing threatens to overwhelm Ava's senses, Kale catches her firmly, his mechanical arm steady despite its earlier instability. His quiet strength becomes a lifeline amid the disorienting distortions. Together, they resist the pull of the fragmented reality surrounding them. They activate the pendant device, its ancient circuits humming as shards of broken glass motifs begin to realign. The scattered fragments coalesce into clearer, coherent patterns, revealing glimpses of the fractured network's underlying structure. The ambient light shifts subtly, reflecting renewed hope. Suddenly, the environment glitches violently, forcing them to confront warped reflections of themselves within the surrounding mirrors. These distorted doubles flicker unpredictably, embodying fears and uncertainties lurking beneath their surfaces. The shadows of fractured selves threaten to consume their resolve. Ava delves into her fragmented memories, piecing together shards to uncover the cause of the city's fracture and her hidden role in its unfolding. Each recovered moment gleams like polished glass, casting light on the distorted timeline. Her violet eyes narrow, determination sharpening with understanding. Meanwhile, Kale battles internal fears as his mechanical parts resonate with an unfamiliar frequency, blurring lines between man and machine. The wear in his arm's joints now pulses with a strange energy, symbolizing an unsettling transformation. He grapples with the essence of his humanity amid the mechanical symphony. Lyra recalibrates her core, syncing its pulsing blue light with Ava's pendant in a harmonious frequency. Their combined energies weave the fractured data streams into a tentative semblance of unity. The air buzzes softly, as if the network itself breathes in concert with them. The Overseer's shattered holograms crack further under the synchronized force, exposing vulnerabilities beneath its cold digital facade. Glimpses of fractured code ripple where once impermeable control reigned, signaling a potential turning point. The faceless entity's presence flickers, hinting at unseen weaknesses. Ava and Kale coordinate a synchronized override, their movements precise as they interface with the network's corrupted memory bank. Digital shards swirl like storm-tossed glass around them, every pulse reflecting their violet and ash-gray eyes. The system shudders, caught between collapse and revival. Neon lights across the city pulse rhythmically, mirroring the network's unstable heartbeat as the override progresses. Reflections of Ava's violet eyes flicker through every screen, interlacing with the fractured time motifs. The tension heightens, every beat feels like a fragile moment poised on the edge of collapse. Flashes of restored memories burst across the urban skyline, faces, places, and fleeting moments briefly returned, but fading as quickly as they arrive. Each fragment dances like shards of broken glass, catching light before vanishing. The city seems caught in a breathless limbo between past and present. Lyra's blue core stabilizes into a steady glow, anchoring the team amid the shifting digital landscape around them. Her light pulses with calm certainty, offsetting the frantic flutter of fractured data. Together, they stand resilient as the environment gradually regains coherence. The Overseer's voice reverberates one final time, a chilling echo delivering a last warning before dissolving into fragments of broken glass. Its presence shatters, scattering holographic shards that drift like spectral dust in the dim air. A silence falls, heavy and expectant, over the now quiet cityscape. Ava and Kale brace themselves as the network shudders, the culmination of their efforts imminent but uncertain. The fractured motifs swirl more rapidly, reflecting the tension that grips them both. Time feels fragmented, hovering between possibility and consequence. The pendant device suddenly unlocks a hidden sequence. Patterns shift and pulse, revealing the true origin of the city's fractured timeline. Symbols glow like ancient circuitry, etched in shattered glass, speaking to secrets long buried. A new understanding dawns just beyond reach. Ava steps into a chamber bathed in light and fractured reflections, where distinctions between past and present blur. She moves with purposeful calm among the broken images, the circuit pendant glowing brightly against her silver hair. Time itself seems suspended, waiting for resolution. Kale supports Ava closely as she interfaces directly with the network's core, their energies intertwining. Memories and data streams converge, forming luminous pathways between fractured fragments. His mechanical arm hums steadily, a symbol of their joint perseverance. Lyra projects serene images of a time before fracture, streets alive with harmony beneath glowing neon skies. The city pulses with unbroken life, a stark contrast to the current shattered reality. These visions inspire the team, fueling the hope for restoration. The network pulses powerfully, shattering the last barriers of corrupted data in a surge of glowing shards. A reset looms, its promise shining through uncertainty and cost. The fractured glass motifs cascade around them, symbolizing both destruction and the seed of renewal. Ava's mind races as clarity strikes. The fracture, the distorted reality, all stemmed from her desperate attempt to alter time and save her friend. Her violet eyes reflect fragmented shards of memories once hidden, now painfully clear. The ancient circuit pendant rests heavy against her chest, echoing the weight of her actions. She wrestles with a tormenting choice: maintain this altered reality and endure its lingering pain, or restore the true flow of time and sacrifice precious memories. Each option carries fracture and loss, mirroring the shattered glass motifs surrounding her. Ava feels the heaviness of her decision deepen as the city dims around her. Kale steps close, his mechanical arm steady yet worn, offering silent strength. "Our strength," he says softly, "comes from facing reality together, no matter how broken or fragmented it may be." His ash-gray hair shifts slightly in the neon glow, anchoring Ava in the present. With newfound resolve, Ava initiates the reset sequence, watching as the fractured glass motifs begin to mend and radiate with an otherworldly glow. The digital screens flicker, reflecting her violet eyes, steady and determined. The city shifts, its neon lights intensifying amid the restoration. The overseer's shards dissolve into streams of brilliant light, unraveling digital chains that bound the city. The oppressive holograms fracture further until only luminescent fragments drift away like ephemeral sparks. Freedom flickers within every restored pixel of the metropolis. Neon lights blaze boldly for the first time in days, casting reflections on whole, unshattered glass surfaces that line the streets. The distorted reality recedes, replaced by clarity and vibrancy as the city breathes anew. Ava's pendant catches the light, its circuits glowing softly against her skin. Amid the renewed calm, Ava glimpses her lost friend's memory, restored yet subtly altered, like a fresh reflection trembling on a still pond. The moment lingers, bittersweet yet filled with hope. Fragments of the past and present merge gently within her heart. Kale's mechanical arm hums with a steady pulse, its worn resilience symbolizing balance between what was and what lies ahead. It feels fully integrated, a vessel of strength forged through shared trials. The arm's intricate mechanisms shimmer faintly in the restored neon illumination. Lyra's core glows warmly, pulsing gently as she hovers beside Ava and Kale. The trio stands silhouetted against the revitalized cityscape, united and strong. Their combined presence feels like a beacon of enduring hope amid infinite possibilities. Ava smiles softly, her fingers brushing the ancient circuit pendant that has never left her side. Beneath a dawning sky of whole reflections, the city breathes anew, filled with unbroken light and endless potential. In this fragile piece, the future unfolds, framed by shattered pasts now mended. In the village of Aloria, where magic had long faded. A single ember glowed faintly beneath the old oak tree. Lena, a curious girl with bright eyes, discovered the ember one chilly evening while gathering firewood. The ember pulsed with a warmth that defied the autumn chill, whispering secrets of a forgotten world. She cupped it carefully, feeling a sudden surge of energy course through her veins. The trees around her shimmered, their outlines blurring into shapes of ancient power. Suddenly, a voice spoke softly. "You are the chosen, bearer of the last flame." Startled, Lena looked around, but saw no one, only the ember glowing brighter in her hands. Determined to understand, she sought the village elder, hoping for answers about the ember's origin. The elder's eyes widened as he saw the ember. "This flame is the heart of Aloria's magic, lost for centuries. With it, we can restore life to our land. But the path is perilous and not without sacrifice," he warned. Lena nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. At dawn, she embarked on a journey beyond the village, following the ember's faint, glowing pulse. Through dense forests and misty valleys, the light led her to a hidden cavern, veiled in shimmering waves of energy. Inside, the air crackled with ancient power, the cavern walls inscribed with glowing runes. The ember's glow intensified as Lena approached an altar at the center, carved from crystalline stone. She placed the ember carefully on its surface, and a radiant light burst forth, flooding the cavern. Magic surged back into the world, revitalizing trees, streams, and creatures long thought lost. Lena felt a profound connection to the earth, her heart beating with newfound strength and hope. "The flame lives on through you," the gentle voice echoed once more, fading into the breeze. Returning to Aloria, Lena smiled as vibrant magic bloomed anew, her village alive with wonder once again. The clock struck midnight as Emma sat alone by the window, clutching a worn envelope. She hesitated, fingers trembling, then unfolded the brittle paper inside. "If you're reading this," the letter began, "it means I never made it back." Her heart pounded. It was her brother, Alex, lost at sea months ago. He wrote of regrets, dreams, and a secret he had kept about their childhood. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she kept reading, drawn into his words. "I've hidden something in the old oak tree by the river. Look there for me." Determined, she wrapped her coat around her and stepped into the cold night. The riverbank was quiet, bathed in silver moonlight, the oak tree standing tall. She searched the rough bark, feeling around until her fingers found a small, carved box. Inside, a collection of photographs, and a note declaring his unwavering love for their family. "I wanted you to know, even if I can't be there," the note reads softly. Emma clutched the box to her chest, feeling both pain and comfort mingling. She whispered, "Alex, I miss you. But now, I have a part of you to hold on to." As dawn approached, Emma sat beneath the oak tree, the weight in her heart beginning to lift. The letter had given her closure she never thought possible, a final connection. Slowly, she smiled through tears, ready to face the days ahead with newfound strength. "Goodbye for now," she murmured, "and thank you for the memories." The sun rose, casting warm light over the river, a new day beginning for Emma. She stood, carrying her brother's love with her, finally at peace. Elena and Marla arrive at the family cabin, its weathered wooden frame standing quietly among the towering pines. The air is thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth, as shadows stretch long across the forest floor. Elena carefully holds a faded photograph in her hands, the image showing her as a child with her parents at this very cabin. She traces the worn edges, memories flickering behind her steady brown eyes. From the edge of the trees, Jonah steps forward, his salt and pepper hair catching the light through the canopy. His guarded expression is familiar, yet measured, as if the forest shields more than just trees. Elena meets Jonah's gaze with a tension held between past and present, their greeting brief but loaded. The broken compass hanging from Jonah's neck gleams dully, its needle twitching erratically in the dappled sunlight. Marla, curious and unafraid, wanders close to the forest's edge, her small hands gathering pine cones. Her wide green eyes catch the flicker of shadows dancing just beyond her reach, as if the trees themselves are watching. Elena breaks the fragile calm by revealing her intent to sell the cabin, the words heavy with finality. Jonah's eyes narrow slightly, unease settling into the space between them like a gathering storm. Jonah warns Elena that the cabin holds secrets best left untouched, his voice low and urgent. The forest seems to lean in, the whispering pines echoing his caution with a soft rustle. Dusk falls, casting long shadows through the whispering pines as the wind carries a haunting song. Inside, flickering candlelight reveals the rough texture of wooden walls, the cabin enveloped in a fragile glow. Elena discovers a silver locket tucked beneath a loose floorboard, its delicate clasp worn by time and handling. Holding it, she feels the weight of unseen stories wrapped within its small, oval shape. Jonah recounts the forest's strange history, weaving tales connected to the locket and their shared ancestors. The old stories hang between them, thick with both warning and wonder. Marla suddenly points toward a shadowy figure glimpsed beyond the window. Her voice is a whisper, but the figure vanishes as they all turn to look. Doubt and fear flicker momentarily in the candlelight. Elena finds scattered letters hidden beneath floorboards, their torn edges and faded ink describing a family conflict long forgotten. Each word stirs a half-remembered tension, deepening the cabin's mysteries. Jonah steps quickly to block Elena's path as she moves toward the forest, his protectiveness clear but laced with unease. His warning is firm. Venturing deeper alone is too risky under the forest's watchful eyes. The air thickens as Elena confronts Jonah about his hidden ties to her family's past, demanding answers she has long awaited. Their voices are low but sharp, memories and mistrust colliding beneath the whispering canopy. A sudden storm bursts overhead, rain hammering the cabin roof and streaking windows as lightning fractures the sky. The power flickers and dies, plunging them into a darkness punctuated only by the pounding rain and distant thunder. Morning reveals unsettling changes. Marla's beloved doll has vanished without trace, and on the table, the broken compass spins wildly, ignoring any notion of north. Unease grows sharper as the sun's weak light seeps through the trees. Determined, Elena steps outside to search, discovering an overgrown trail obscured behind the cabin, tangled with vines and moss. The forest beyond seems both inviting and forbidding, its secrets buried beneath layers of time. Jonah follows reluctantly, his voice low with caution as he warns of hidden dangers ahead. His knowledge of the forest's unseen threats adds weight to every step they take deeper beneath the whispering pines. The woods close in around them, shadows shifting unnaturally with each footfall. The familiar path begins to warp, the forest taking on a strange, surreal quality that unsettles even Jonah's steady demeanor. Elena spots a carved symbol etched deep into the bark of a tree, identical to one seen faintly in the old photograph. The mark pulses with significance, a silent key to the forest's tangled past. Jonah admits he once belonged to a secretive group linked to that very symbol, tied to local legends shrouded in myth. His confession carries both regret and a warning, deepening the mystery that binds them. Suddenly, distant footsteps echo through the trees, too deliberate to be natural. Both Elena and Jonah glance toward the sound, but no figure emerges from the thickening mist. A mysterious stranger appears briefly, their presence fleeting as they drop a sealed letter before vanishing amid the veiling fog. The air feels charged, as if the woods themselves whispered a warning through this ghostly messenger. The letter's contents unearth a painful truth, one of betrayal woven through generations of Elena's family. Shock and disbelief ripple through her, as the delicate threads of her past unravel before her eyes. Elena grapples with the heavy revelations, her heart torn between trust and suspicion. Jonah urges restraint and patience, reminding her that some truths unfold only when the time is right. Back inside the cabin, Marla's sharp eyes catch a glimpse of something beneath a loose floorboard. With careful fingers, she lifts the panel and uncovers the missing doll, its worn fabric dusty from years of hiding. Relief washes over her face as she holds it close, unaware of its deeper significance. Elena and Jonah's voices rise in fierce disagreement, the tension thick in the shadowed room. She urges they leave before uncovering more pain, while he insists on unearthing every secret buried within these walls. Their opposing wills clash, embodying years of unspoken struggles tied to this place. Jonah rolls up his sleeve, revealing faded scars crisscrossing his arm like silent testimony. Each mark a link to the family's troubled past, struggles and sacrifices made long ago. The physical evidence jolts Elena, grounding the haunting stories she barely dared imagine. Elena's fingers tremble when she finds the silver locket left open on the mantelpiece. Within, A tiny photo of two children stares back at her, faces unfamiliar yet strangely evocative. It feels like a whisper from a past carefully hidden. A flood of fragmented memories rush through Alina's mind, snapshots of laughter and shadows intertwining beneath this roof. Moments forgotten and distorted press inward, as if the cabin itself breathes their story alongside the whispering pines. Suddenly, the broken compass shifts in her hand, now unwavering and pointing steadily in a strange new direction. The change intrigues them, yet an undercurrent of unease follows, as if the device knows more than it reveals. They follow the compass's lead and discover a concealed door beneath a dusty rug, an ancient cellar hidden beneath the cabin's floor. The air around it hums with forgotten secrets, beckoning them closer with cautious anticipation. Inside the cellar, time seems suspended as they find relics and yellowed journals describing a secret pact sealed decades ago. The words speak of promises and burdens, weaving a tale intertwined with their own bloodline. Jonah's voice falters as he admits his family's oath to guard these secrets, a duty that demanded heavy cost. His revelation weighs on Alina, adding layers of complexity to the truth they both seek. Despite the sting of betrayal, Alina's resolve hardens. She must unravel the full story, no matter how painful. The strands of mystery bind her to Jonah and the cabin, pushing past doubt and fear. Outside, the forest thickens in twilight, the pines whispering warnings carried by rustling leaves. The boundary between safety and the unknown feels narrower with every passing moment. Near the cellar entrance, Marla lingers, eyes wide as if sensing a presence unseen. Her small figure is still, caught between curiosity and the intangible gaze that seems to watch her every move. Without warning, the earth trembles and a collapse seals Alina and Jonah inside the cellar. Darkness envelops them, walls pressing close, turning their exploration into a desperate struggle for breath and calm. In the suffocating stillness, Jonah sings a lullaby from his childhood, soft, haunting notes threading through the darkness. The familiar melody steadies Alina's racing heart, bridging the gap between fear and hope. As the earth settles, they find a narrow path to freedom, emerging into fading daylight. Their shared ordeal deepens a silent bond, forging a cautious trust amid the shadows of their pasts. Back upstairs, Alina studies the journals with fresh eyes, piecing together the true nature of the family pact. It was not just about secrets. It guarded a treasure hidden from the world's gaze. Jonah reveals that the treasure is no gold or jewels, but a secret with power to alter their family's destiny. The weight of this truth presses on them, promising upheaval alongside understanding. A final letter, yellowed and creased, warns that unveiling this secret demands a personal sacrifice. The cost of truth is laid bare, chilling yet undeniable in its gravity. Determined, Alina and Jonah prepare to face whatever awaits beyond fear and hesitation. United in resolve, they step forward together to confront the unfolding mystery. Marla appears with the compass clutched tightly in her small hands, the needle steady and true. Its quiet certainty offers a fragile thread of hope amidst the growing darkness. Guided by the compass, the family moves deeper into the forest where shafts of light pierce the dense canopy. The eerie beauty of the woods surrounds them, mingling danger and promise in every breath. They reach a clearing dominated by an ancient oak tree, its bark carved with the same symbol appearing throughout their journey. The tree stands as sentinel to secrets long held in the whispering pines. At the base of the oak, moss and roots part to reveal a weathered box buried beneath the earth. The discovery feels like a culmination, a portal to truths hidden just out of reach. Inside the box lie personal keepsakes and a letter addressed directly to Alina from her grandmother. The words pulse with honesty and hope, bridging generations with unexpected tenderness. The letter speaks of forgiveness and legacy, urging Alina to carry the family's future with strength and compassion. It offers a fragile light amidst shadows, planting seeds for what lies ahead. As Alina gazed at the broken compass and the scattered letters, a deep understanding settled within her. The true treasure was not gold or jewels, but the shared history and bonds that had been frayed and were now being woven anew. In that quiet moment, surrounded by whispering pines, she felt the strength of family reignite. Jonah stepped closer, his weathered face earnest as he spoke of past mistakes and regrets. Alina listened, her steady brown eyes reflecting forgiveness and hope. Together, they made a silent vow to protect the legacy of the old family cabin, promising to face the future united. With careful hands, they restored the delicate compass, its needle finally steady and true. They placed the silver locket inside the worn wooden box, securing it as a symbol of their commitment. This act was more than preservation. It was reclaiming their shared past and safeguarding their future. Marla's inquisitive green eyes brightened with a gentle smile, sensing the tension in the forest lift. The once ominous presence among the towering pines seemed to wane, replaced by a peaceful calm that enveloped the cabin. Her laughter echoed softly, bringing life back to the quiet woods. Inside the cabin, the windows glowed warmly against the dusky twilight, casting golden light onto the surrounding trees. This welcoming glow was a testament to renewed life and resilience, standing firm amidst the forest's eerie beauty. It marked a fresh beginning for the family and their heritage. Elena stood before the familiar walls, feeling a renewed determination swell within her chest. She decided to keep the cabin, honoring the legacy of her ancestors while embracing the endless possibilities of the future. The forest was no longer just a backdrop, but a cherished part of their story. Under Jonah's guidance, Marla carefully hung delicate wind chimes outside the cabin. Their soft, melodious tones caught the breeze, mingling with the whispering pines in a welcoming symphony. It was a tangible sign that peace and warmth had returned to the place they called home. Elena reached up to pin the faded photograph back on the wall, its edges now whole and its meaning clear. The image connected past generations with the present, grounding their family's story within these walls. It symbolized healing and the continuity of love through time. Together, Elena, Jonah, and Marla stood outside as the sun dipped behind the pines, casting long shadows over the forest floor. United and hopeful, they faced the coming days with strength forged from understanding and forgiveness. Their bond, like the cabin, was steadfast and enduring. A final glance toward the forest revealed a serene stillness, the secrets nestled deep within, safely guarded by time and trust. The whispering pines swayed gently, as if sharing silent approval of the family's journey. In that peaceful moment, the mysteries of the woods seemed to rest, embraced by the light of a new chapter. In the stillness of the village, bathed by the full moon, Ilara's silver crescent birthmark softly glowed, its light pulsing gently with the lunar glow. Her piercing green eyes reflected the moonlight as she traced the familiar mark on her skin, sensing a quiet resonance with the night. At the forest's edge, Ilara noticed a shimmering, ethereal ribbon of light weaving silently among the ancient trees. The veil flickered subtly under the moonlight, its silvery hues shifting and fluttering like a living thread of light. She reached out cautiously toward the veil, her fingers trembling as the ethereal ribbon rippled briefly at her touch. A faint whisper echoed on the night breeze, unintelligible yet filled with a mysterious urgency. From the shadows stepped Kale, his storm-gray hair tousled by the night air. His weathered cloak seemed to merge with the darkness as his steady gaze reflected the haunting light of the veil. Kale warned Ilara about the veil's power, his voice low and grave, hinting at dangers tied closely to the cycles of the moon. He spoke of forces that could not be easily controlled, and the peril hidden within the shimmering light. Ilara held up her silver crescent pendant, watching it resonate faintly as the veil's light brushed against it. The pendant's subtle glow mirrored the birthmark on her skin, linking her to the mystery unfolding before them. A flashback took her to childhood, when she first discovered the crescent birthmark. Even then, she had been inexplicably drawn to moonlit nights, feeling an unspoken connection to their shifting phases. The village elders gathered in whispered tones, recounting the veil's curse that had loomed over their people for generations. Their stories spoke of restless shadows and the heavy price of past recklessness under the moon. Disturbances grew. Shadows began to move on their own, and villagers reported hearing chilling whispers in solitude. Fear threaded through the village as the unnatural phenomena escalated beyond whispers and glances. Determined, Ilara knelt by a calm pond under the bright moon, tracing the veil's path through the reflections. The silver light twisted fluidly across the water's surface, guiding her gaze deeper into the mystery. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Kale confessed he had tracked the veil for years. His quest to uncover its source was driven by the hope of mastering or perhaps ending its haunting influence. The veil thickened, pulsing rhythmically as ghostly shapes emerged, mimicking villagers' deepest fears with unsettling clarity. The ethereal light warped into haunting forms that tightened its grip on the frightened souls nearby. Alara's pendant glowed with unexpected intensity, revealing hidden runes etched beneath its surface that had gone unnoticed before. The runes shimmered against the moonlit silver, suggesting a link to ancient wisdom. Suddenly, a fierce gust snuffed out every lantern, plunging the village into deeper shadow. Only the moon remained to illuminate the veil's mesmerizing, yet terrifying, dance in the night. Resolute, Alara chose to venture into the forest to confront the veil's enigma, with Kale reluctantly binding himself to her. Together, they stepped into the shadows where the moonlight barely pierced the dense canopy. Deeper within the forest, they discovered ancient stones arranged in a crescent shape, faintly glowing beneath the moon's silvery light. The stones hummed with a subtle energy, resonating with the veil that now encircled them. The veil wrapped around the stones, growing more tangible as its whispers rose into haunting melodies that wove through the trees. The silver light pulsed like a living heartbeat, intensifying the eerie atmosphere. Alara stumbled, and from the shimmer emerged a shadowy figure eerily resembling her own reflection. It reached out, trying to pull her into the veil's radiant but unnerving light, challenging her grip on reality. Kale reacted swiftly, chanting incantations from his ancient journal inscribed with cryptic runes. His voice cut through the night, momentarily dispersing the shadow and soothing the restless veil's turmoil. Their eyes caught a hidden inscription on one of the crescent stones, referencing an ancient ritual designed to bind or control the veil's potent power. The markings hinted at a fragile balance between light and shadow, old as the moon itself. As the night deepened, the veil became tempestuous, tugging fiercely at Alara's pendant and the birthmark pulsing beneath her skin. The lunar energy strained against her, threatening to overwhelm her senses. Visions assaulted Alara, moonlit battles between ethereal guardians and veil spirits trapped between worlds. The spectral clashes echoed through her mind, revealing a long-hidden conflict intertwined with her own destiny. Kale disclosed that he had once been a guardian, bound by a curse to roam until the veil's balance was restored. His storm-gray hair and weathered cloak marked years of wandering in search of redemption and renewal. The forest shifted around them. Ancient trees whispered dire warnings as the path back to the village faded into obscurity. Shadows thickened, and the boundary between reality and veil blurred dangerously. A sudden change in the moon's phase warped the veil's form, stretching it like molten silver encasing them. The light's fluid motion intensified, binding Alara and Kale in its shimmering grasp as the night deepened. Alara and Kale finally reached the ancient altar, its surface worn smooth by time but still radiating a strange energy. The crescent-shaped indentation in the stone calls to Alara's pendant, which fits perfectly as if made for the place. The moment the pendant settles, a faint hum vibrates through the air, heightening the tension around them. As Alara presses the pendant deeper into the altar, a sudden burst of blinding light erupts, flooding the clearing with silvery luminescence. The veil responds violently, thrashing like a living current before enveloping them in its shifting folds. Both find themselves swept away, pulled through an otherworldly vortex that warps the very fabric of their surroundings. They emerge in a liminal realm where the skies glow with a cold silver hue, and the land is draped in long shadows cast by an unseen moon. This ethereal place seems bound by lunar light, both beautiful and haunting, its edges blurred and constantly shifting like a dream. All around, reflective surfaces ripple oddly, mirroring more than just their images. From the shadows flicker faint, sorrowful figures, lost villagers caught in the veil's unyielding curse. They approach silently, their eyes pleading for release though no words escape their lips. The air is thick with a heavy grief that weighs on Alara's heart, deepening her resolve. Suddenly, Alara's silver crescent birthmark glows with intense light, casting a gentle beacon that reaches out to the fragmented souls. The spectral villagers respond, their forms stabilizing as a faint connection is formed between their trapped essence and the waking world. This luminous link offers a fragile hope for their salvation. Kale studies the cryptic runes inscribed within his ancient journal, muttering translations under his breath. He reveals that the veil was originally created as a shield to protect the realm from outside harm, but the magic became twisted over time. The intended guardian became a curse, feeding on the fears of those it was meant to defend. They are soon met by a spectral guardian, an imposing figure woven from light and shadow. The guardian warns them solemnly that interfering with the veil is perilous, threatening to collapse both the liminal realm and the physical world. Its tone is grave, underscoring the fragile balance at stake. Torn between duty and fear, Elara wrestles with whether to sever the veil's corrupt power completely or try to restore its original protective nature. The weight of her people's fate presses heavily on her as the moonlight continues to shift all around them. Kale watches closely, understanding this choice could alter everything. In vision-like echoes, they witness scenes from centuries past, a ritual interrupted and mistakes made that bound the veil's power improperly. Shadows flicker with ancient sorrow, revealing how the once sacred ceremony turned source of torment. This glimpse into history deepens their understanding of the veil's dark transformation. The veil's once gentle shimmer now feeds on fear and despair, distorting the village's destiny under each changing moon phase. The shadows writhe unnaturally, as if alive with malice, and the villagers' suffering becomes a continuous cycle of anguish. This sinister evolution curses the land with dread and hopelessness. Kale confesses that he fled the village long ago, overwhelmed by guilt after failing to stop the curse from spreading. His weathered face reflects years of regret, and his voice carries a somber tone as he admits his past mistakes. Elara's resolve only hardens upon hearing his confession. Determined, Elara pledges to confront the root of the corruption, vowing to free both her people and the trapped souls from the veil's grasp. Her birthmark pulses softly, as if lending its strength to her conviction. Kale nods, ready to stand by her side through whatever trials lie ahead. Back at the altar in the forest realm, Elara and Kale begin a ritual drawn from the ancient runes and guided by the pendant's radiant glow. The air thrums with power as they work in unison, weaving light and shadow to mend the fractured veil. Time seems to stretch as the veil responds to their efforts, but the veil resists violently, twisting in turbulent waves of shadow and shimmering light, fighting to maintain its corrupted hold. The altar trembles under the strain, and the boundaries between realities blur dangerously. It becomes clear that the veil will not surrender its power easily. Summoning her inner strength, Elara channels the energy from her glowing birthmark, stabilizing the veil's tumultuous flow. Her hands steady as a calming lunar light radiates outward, soothing the chaotic forces. Slowly, the balance begins to shift, giving hope that the ritual will succeed. One by one, the trapped souls start to dissolve into serene moonlight, their expressions peaceful, as if finally freed from torment. Their silent gratitude fills the liminal realm, lightening the oppressive atmosphere. Each soul's release brings the veil closer to restoration. At the ritual's climax, the spectral guardian merges with the veil itself, a sacrifice that purifies its essence and dispels the lingering darkness. Its form dissolves into radiant light, vanishing but leaving behind a restored balance. The price is great, but necessary for renewal. With calm restored, the liminal realm fades away under the dawn's first light, gently guiding Elara and Kale back to the forest floor. The world feels still and new as the sun's early rays touch the ancient altar. Their journey through shadows and moonlight has reached a turning point. Back in the village, clear skies stretch overhead, and the faintest crescent moon glows softly before sunrise. The suffocating darkness and strange whispers that once plagued the village are lifted. A subtle calm settles over the land, promising a fresh beginning. Elara's pendant has become inert, its light extinguished, yet her silver crescent birthmark remains, pulsing faintly with tranquil lunar energy. This quiet glow serves as a reminder of the veil's lingering presence beneath the surface. Though subdued, the magic endures within her. Days pass peacefully, and villagers report no unusual shadows or haunting whispers at night. The once ominous phases of the moon now bring comfort instead of fear. Life begins to return to its natural rhythm, free from the veil's oppressive influence. Elara and Kale revisit the ancient stones where it all began. The crescent pattern now appears as mere faint reflections of moonlight on the worn rock. The altar's power seems dormant, transformed from feared relic into quiet monument. This subtle change hints at the delicate balance retained beneath the surface. The village elders gather to honor Alara's bravery, sharing stories that reaffirm respect for the moon and its enduring cycles. Their words weave tradition with newfound hope, reminding all of the lessons learned from the veil. Ceremony and reverence bind the community in healing. Prepared to leave the village behind, Alara and Kale share a quiet moment, their bond strengthened by the trials endured together. Mutual respect and understanding pass between them as they ready themselves for the journey ahead. Though the path forward is uncertain, it is faced united. Before departing, Alara conceals the pendant within a secret hollow beneath the oldest tree, guarding the veil's lingering secret with quiet solemnity. The pendant rests there, hidden from prying eyes yet still connected to the moonlit power they confronted. Its silence speaks of mysteries yet to unfold. Suddenly, a soft shimmer returns to the air, subtle and benign, weaving gently through the silvered shadows. It hints that the veil's protective spirit still endures, faint but unwavering beneath the moonlight. Alara smiles, her piercing green eyes reflecting the quiet radiance. She understands now that the veil was never truly lost but transformed, an unseen guardian watching silently over them all. Kale nods solemnly, the storm-gray strands of his hair catching the moonlight as he acknowledges the restored balance between the human realm and the veil's ethereal light. The ancient connection hums quietly between them. As they walk away, the village is bathed in a peaceful silver glow, the moonlight soft and steady. Shadows settle into calm, and the familiar motifs of reflective surfaces seem to hold their secrets gently, undisturbed. Alara glances down and notices her silver crescent birthmark glowing faintly once more, pulsing with a quiet promise. It is a sign of an enduring bond, linking her to the veil and the cycles of the moon. A final flashback reveals the ritual's original guardian, a figure cloaked in moonlit grace, passing the sacred charge to Alara's ancestors. The lineage of protectors is made clear, bridging past and present beneath the shifting phases above. Kale carefully folds his ancient journal, its pages now filled with new runes recounting their journey and the hope born from this night's revelations. Each word is a testament to the legacy they carry forward as guardians. Meanwhile, village children laugh and play beneath the soft moonlight, unaware of the unseen forces that shield them. The veil's silent protection wraps around them, gentle and unseen like a whispered lullaby. Together, Alara and Kale disappear into the horizon, their figures blending with the shadows and moonlight. They are ready to face whatever the next chapter of their intertwined fate will write beneath the celestial veil. Above, the silver moon arcs steadily across the sky, a timeless sentinel watching over all beneath its eternal veil. It remains the silent witness to stories of light, shadow, and enduring promise. In the village of Elderglen, where magic was a whispered legend, a hollow tree stood forgotten at the edge of the Mistuad. One cold morning, Mira, a curious child with eyes full of wonder, found a glowing key lodged in the tree's bark. The key pulsed softly, beckoning her to follow an unseen path deep into the forest. Whispers in the wind guided her steps until she reached a shimmering door hidden among ancient roots. Mira hesitated, then inserted the key, feeling it warm beneath her fingertips as the door creaked open. Beyond the threshold lay a realm of twilight shadows and silver light, where time seemed to dance. A figure emerged, a small, elusive creature with eyes like stars and a voice like the rustling leaves. "Welcome, Seeker," it said. "You've unlocked the hollow tree's secret, a sanctuary of forgotten magic." Mira listened as the creature spoke of a time when the village thrived on enchantments, now lost to fear and doubt. "You carry the hope to revive the magic," it whispered, handing her a glowing seed. Mira promised to plant it in Elderglen, to bring back the wonder that once bloomed. With a flash, she found herself back by the hollow tree, the key fading in her hand. She ran home, clutching the seed, feeling its warmth pulse like a heartbeat. The villagers gathered, skeptics and believers alike, as Mira planted the seed at the village square. Hours passed, and as the sun set, sprouts of light burst from the ground, weaving through the air. Magic returned in bursts of color and shimmering threads, filling Elderglen with awe and joy. The hollow tree whispered its farewell, its purpose fulfilled, as the seed grew into a new enchanted guardian. Mira smiled, knowing that some keys unlock more than doors. They unlock the spirit of a place. From that day forward, Elderglen thrived, its magic alive in the hearts of all who believed. And beneath the stars, Mira often heard the softest whisper, "Thank you, Keeper of the Light." At the first light of dawn, Leora wakes clutching her silver leaf pendant tightly, the symbol a small comfort amidst the unease settling over the village. Outside, the ancient forest stretches silently, its shadows long and mysterious under the pale morning sky. As Leora walks through the village, she notices worried faces exchanging nervous glances. The fading light and wilting crops weigh heavily on everyone's spirits, hinting at a deeper, unseen affliction creeping through the land. Near the village's edge, Theron hunches over his forge, the heat and smoke mixing with the morning air. His soot-streaked hands carefully sharpen tools, eyes steady and calm despite the unsettling changes they all face. Leora approaches Theron, holding out a broken shard of a prism glowing faintly green, its fractured edges catching the light erratically. She hopes he can decipher its origin, sensing it may hold the key to their village's plight. Theron examines the shard, his brow furrowing as he recognizes the ancient symbols etched into its surface. They are the same carvings he's seen in the worn stones of the forest temple ruins, linking the mysterious object to a place steeped in forgotten power. In the village square, the community gathers with growing anxiety as the flowers around them lose their vibrant hues and the sunlight dims unevenly each passing day. Whispered fears spread like wildfire, the natural world turning against them in subtle but ominous ways. Leora recalls the old tales of the Prism of Verdant Grove, a mystical artifact believed to sustain the life and color of their land. Now fractured, it seems the very heart of their forest and village is faltering. Determined, she resolves to venture into the ancient forest, seeking the temple to reunite the prism's scattered shards. The weight of hope rests heavily on her shoulders as she prepares to face unknown dangers. Before she departs, Theron presents her with a finely forged knife, the metal gleaming and sharp. He warns her of the forest's lurking perils and pledges his support should she need it. Stepping beneath towering trees, Leora watches the dappled sunlight flicker with an eerie inconsistency, as though the forest itself breathes and shifts with secret magic. She grips her silver leaf pendant for reassurance as she moves deeper into the woods. Strange insects emitting glowing hues flutter around her, their movements guiding her toward an ancient moss-covered path inscribed with runes. The path seems alive, whispering of forgotten enchantments and hidden dangers. As she nears the temple ruins, shadows twist and shift unnaturally, hinting at unseen watchers lurking just beyond the edges of her vision. A chill runs down her spine, the forest's magic growing more intense and unpredictable. Suddenly, Elendra emerges from the shadows, her gray eyes piercing and her blue tattoos glowing faintly in the dim light. She warns Leora that sinister forces seek to block the prism's restoration, their intentions dark and relentless. Elendra reveals herself as a guardian marked by ancient power, her glowing tattoos a symbol of her sacred duty. She offers cryptic guidance, urging caution and resolve in the trials to come. Leora steels herself, her grip tightening on her pendant as she vows to collect all the prism fragments before the encroaching darkness extinguishes the land's magic completely. Her determination shines through despite the overwhelming odds. At the temple's altar, Leora discovers the first major shard embedded within, pulsating with a gentle, soft light that hints at its lingering vitality. Its fractured surface gleams, promising both hope and challenge. When Leora touches the shard, a sudden burst of vibrant color spreads across the clearing, briefly reviving the wilted flowers around her. The momentary revival fills her with cautious optimism that restoration is possible. Without warning, dark roots surge violently from the earth, twisting and lashing like serpents as they attempt to ensnare her in magical vines. The forest itself seems to resist her quest, its ancient magic turning hostile. Leora narrowly escapes the grasp of the tendrils by slicing through them with her knife, but in the struggle, the shard slips from her grasp and its light dims once more. The fleeting hope flickers, reminding her of the delicate balance she must maintain. Deeper within the temple, Leora uncovers ancient murals depicting the prism's power and a shadowy figure breaking it apart. The imagery warns of a malevolent force determined to shatter the land's lifeblood. Unexpectedly, Theron appears, having tracked her trail through the treacherous forest. His presence offers much-needed strength and companionship in a place so laden with peril. Together, they navigate traps forged from shifting light and shadow, their hands clasped tightly, the silver leaf pendant between them glowing softly with a reassuring light. Their unity becomes their greatest defense against the temple's enchantments. They arrive at a chamber where a large shard hovers, partitioned and imprisoned within a glowing cage of shimmering energy. The air vibrates with powerful magic that resists their approach. Elendra returns to warn them that to claim this shard, they must face their deepest fears, illusions conjured by the prism's protective magic. The challenge is as much of the mind as it is of the body, testing their inner strength. Leora confronts a vivid vision of her village withering away and her silver leaf pendant crumbling into dust, a haunting test of her resolve and hope. The fear threatens to overwhelm her, but her determination to save her home pushes her forward despite the torment. With Theron's calm encouragement, Leora summons her resolve, pushing through the harrowing vision. The spectral cage shimmers and cracks, finally shattering to release the glowing shard. The silver leaf pendant on her chest pulses softly, a reassuring beacon of hope. She carefully positions the new shard beside the first, their edges fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Light bursts forth, the forest responding instantly, roots curl back gently while blossoms burst open in radiant colors. The prism's fractured light seems to pulse with new energy, weaving through the ancient trees. Suddenly, a low rumble shakes the temple's structure, dust falling from stone carvings etched with ancient forest symbols. Unseen forces awaken, reacting unpredictably to the partial restoration of the prism. The air around them thickens with shimmering light and shadow intertwining. Outside, the sky darkens as a swirling storm of Inkai black energy coils above the land. The sun is swallowed by roiling clouds, halting the forest's revival in an instant. A chill freezes the air, leaves shriveling even as flowers remain poised to bloom. Realizing time slips through their fingers, Leora and Theron steel themselves to retrieve the remaining shards before darkness claims the entire grove. Each moment the storm grows stronger, blotting out natural light that once guided them. Their determination burns as brightly as the silver pendant at Leora's throat. Following cryptic clues left by Elendra, the trio ventures deeper into the forest. At last, they find a hidden glade, a serene clearing where ancient trees rise tall and proud. There, beneath one venerable tree, the third shard lies buried beneath a carpet of moss and roots. The glowing symbols etched into the tree's bark mirror those found on temple stones, faint blue light swirling around them. Leora's silver leaf pendant flares warmly in response, as if connecting to the ancient magic. The shard's refracted light dances across the bark's intricate patterns. As Leora reaches out, spectral wolves materialize between her and the shard, their eyes blazing with ethereal fire. Low growls ripple through the clearing, their presence a chilling warning. The silver pendant remains visible, a steady pulse amidst growing tension. Theron steps forward swiftly, hefting his crafted weapons with practiced ease. The clash is swift but intense, his strength and precision keeping the wolves at bay without harm. Colored light flickers around their struggle, the magical energy tangible in the air. With the final strike, the spectral wolves dissolve into wisps of blue light, their menace ebbing away. In their place, faint luminescent paw prints glow briefly on the earth before fading. The shard is now safely in their grasp, radiating a renewed shimmer beneath Leora's pendant. The trio hastens back toward the temple, urgency propelling their steps as the storm outside intensifies. Lightning crackles unpredictably, painting jagged shadows against twisted branches. The forest's renewed life struggles against the encroaching darkness closing in rapidly. Elendra begins chanting ancient words, her glowing blue tattoos blazing fiercely along her arms and face. A shimmering barrier of light and color spins around them, rippling against the storm's assaults. Despite her effort, the tempest's wrath grows relentless. Suddenly, the protective spell falters. A jagged surge of black lightning strikes the earth nearby. The ground splits open with a roaring crack, jagged edges glowing with erratic colors like fractured glass. The trio is thrown off balance by the violent upheaval underfoot. In an agonizing instant, Leora tumbles into the glowing chasm, her silver leaf pendant the last visible trace as it flickers faintly. Prism shards scatter deeper into the twisting, luminescent tunnels below. The forest's fate now hangs precariously with her survival. Theron and Elendra gaze down in horror, their voices lost in the storm's howling wind. The pendant's faint gleam fades slowly into the shadows, a fragile thread tethering her to the surface world. Fear and determination etch their faces as they prepare to follow her plunge. Within the glowing chasm, Leora moves cautiously through erratic passages alive with fractured light. The colors shift unpredictably, disorienting yet mesmerizing as they refract through countless crystal surfaces. Her pendant remains a steady source of calm in the surreal depths. She finds scattered shards embedded in the crystalline walls, each fragment radiating a shard of the forest's lost warmth. As she collects them, patches of vibrant color pulse through the tunnels, slowly pushing back the surrounding darkness. Hope glimmers in the depths below the shattered earth. Suddenly, a wraith of shifting shadows blocks her path, formed from the chasm's darkest fears. Its form writhes with malice, bent on capturing the prism's power for itself. The silver leaf pendant flares with defiant light, casting away creeping darkness momentarily. Summoning all her courage, Leora channels the pendant's radiant glow to repel the wraith. The dark entity wavers, then dissipates into flickering shadows spiraling away. The fragments gathered in her hands shimmer brighter, empowering her resolve to escape. Breaking through to the surface, Leora reunites with Theron and Elendra, her hands clutching all the recovered shards. The storm above still looms, its dark tendrils writhing around the trembling forest. Yet their combined presence offers a fragile beacon of resistance. They race toward the temple altar, urgency sharpening every step, knowing full restoration is their last hope. The shards begin to levitate and spin, slow and deliberate, aligning in a precise pattern atop the stone platform. Colored light cascades from their joined edges, painting the walls in shimmering hues. As the shards circle each other, prismatic light fractures and cascades like a waterfall, filling the chamber with radiant glow. Ancient forest symbols etched into stone and wood catch the light, pulsing in time with the prism's rhythms. The silver leaf pendant glows steadily at Leora's throat, syncing with the spectacle. Suddenly, dark storm clouds coil tighter around the temple, tendrils of shadow pressing inward. The vibrant light from the prism flickers as if struggling for breath. The encroaching darkness threatens to snuff out this fragile beacon of life and magic. Elendra channels her dwindling strength into a surge of protective magic, her blue tattoos dimming from fierce glow to faint ember. With an anguished cry, she weakens the storm's grip momentarily, buying precious seconds. Her sacrifice leaves the aura around them shimmering with bittersweet intensity. In the heart of the swirl, Leora places her silver leaf pendant at the prism's center. Her unwavering faith ignites a brilliant pulse of life and color that floods the temple. The prisms blaze with radiant light, weaving hope through the forest's struggling veins. The fractured prism, held aloft by Leora, began to glow with intensifying light as the jagged edges shimmered with every hue. Suddenly, the shards flew together in a dazzling spectacle, weaving back into a flawless whole. As the last piece clicked into place, the storm above quelled, and warm sunlight flooded the verdant grove once more. Gradually, the once bare trees burst forth with lush greenery, their leaves whispering in newfound life. Flowers of every color bloomed vibrantly, filling the air with sweet scents, while the forest echoed again with the joyous calls of returning animals. Nature's healing was visible and undeniable, celebrating the suspension of chaos. Elendra stood nearby, a faint smile curving her lips as her glowing blue tattoos dimmed, her strength slowly ebbing. Though her power waned, peace radiated from her presence, a testament to the restored balance between magic and the natural world. The ancient symbols etched along her robe seemed to pulse softly, syncing with the harmonized forest. Theron embraced Leora firmly, soot-streaked hands steady and warm, pride and relief shining in his eyes. Around them, the village showed signs of vibrant renewal, the air full of hope as lives once again thrived. Their shared sigh marked a turning point, the darkest days giving way to flourishing vitality. The silver leaf pendant resting against Leora's heart glowed softly, emitting a gentle green luminescence that intertwined with the natural light. This subtle beacon symbolized the ongoing healing and the unbreakable connection forged through hope and perseverance. It reminded them all that, while trials had passed, the journey of restoration continued. Returning to her village, Leora was greeted by scenes of celebration beneath skies washed in vivid hues. Villagers danced amidst blossoming harvest fields, their faces alight with gratitude and renewed spirit. The air was thick with song and laughter, an ode to recovery and the promise of continued prosperity. In the quiet moments, Leora recounted her perilous journey to attentive ears, her pendant radiant in the soft glow of evening light. The prism shards were now carefully encased within the village hall, displayed as solemn reminders of what had been overcome. Each piece reflected the natural light subtly, symbolizing strength through unity and memory. As night fell, the silver leaf pendant around Leora's neck shimmered faintly, casting soft green patterns that mingled with the silver stars overhead. The calm forest around her seemed to breathe gently, alive with peaceful energy and quiet magic. Within this tranquility, hope glimmered, persistent as the stars above. New seedlings sprouted tenderly around the ancient temple, their vibrant leaves whispering promises of growth and resilience. These living symbols echoed the ancient forest markings, blending old magic with fresh life. Inspired by their shared ordeal, the village embraced this continuous cycle of renewal with reverence and care. The story closed with Leora standing on a gentle hill, her emerald eyes fixed toward the distant horizon. The silver leaf pendant pulsed faintly at her chest, a quiet promise of hope and connection as dawn painted the sky. She stood ready, heart steady, awaiting the new wonders and challenges the future might bring. Lena leaned over the cluttered workstation, her sharp eyes following a shifting constellation on the holographic star map. Her finger traced the lines carefully, sensing an unsettling change in the familiar celestial patterns. Kale focused intently as he tightened bolts on his mechanical arm adjustment. Sparks briefly flickered, illuminating the faint scar above his left eyebrow, his stoic expression unwavering despite the growing urgency. Dr. Myerk stepped into the dimly lit lab, his gaze fixed on a machine pulsating with ethereal energy. The glow bathed his high-collared lab coat, his round spectacles reflecting the mysterious light. Suddenly, the ancient compass device strapped to Lena's wrist began to pulse erratically. Its shifting shadows cast an eerie glow on her weathered leather jacket as the light intensified and dimmed unpredictably. Outside the observatory, the sky distorted as a temporal anomaly twisted the stars into shimmering, unnatural patterns. The familiar nightscape warped, sending a chill through the crew within. Lena and Kale exchanged uneasy glances as a bright star blinked out on the star map in real time. Their synchronized watches ticked irregularly, echoing the growing instability. Myerk nervously examined fluctuating data on a holographic screen, illustrating rapid shifts in time and space stability. Lines of code and star charts flickered, mirroring their rising concern. Clutching the glowing compass, Lena watched as it projected fragmented images of unfamiliar locations. The device's erratic glow hinted at mysteries beyond their understanding. In the cramped quarters, the team debated heatedly, tension mounting as the anomalies corrupted their instruments. Voices overlapped, each aware that the stakes were climbing dangerously higher. Kale interfaced his mechanical arm with the compass, attempting to stabilize the chaotic signals. His brow furrowed with determination as sparks danced from the connection. Outside, the landscape vibrated subtly, a low hum permeating the air and unsettling the crew's nerves. Even the walls seemed to pulse in rhythm with the unseen disturbance. Without warning, a power surge caused the lab's lights to flicker wildly. Fleeting shadows moved unnaturally within the bursts of light, leaving an eerie impression on all present. Lena received a cryptic message on her wrist device, coordinates that shifted unpredictably, defying logic. The revelation deepened the mystery as she stared at the elusive numbers. Myerk's voice was grave as he warned of the impending meridian shift, a rare cosmic event with the power to alter reality itself. The weight of his words hung heavy in the sterile air. The crew prepared hastily to embark on a mission to the anomaly's epicenter, acutely aware that failure might disrupt time permanently. The atmosphere was thick with determination and unspoken fears. They boarded their sleek ship and launched toward the elusive coordinates, the compass glowing steadily to guide their path through the void. The ship's engines hummed with restrained power as stars blurred past. Approaching the anomaly, star maps warped visibly in the cockpit, and the ship's controls responded sluggishly. Lena's fingers danced over worn instruments as Kale kept steady despite the strain. Erratic spatial readings flickered on Lena's monitor, while Kale recalibrated the propulsion system under intense stress. The pressure of their task was evident in every precise movement. Suddenly, a blast wave from the anomaly rocked the ship violently, throwing the crew off balance. Equipment clattered and warning lights flashed, demanding immediate control adjustments. Myrick consulted the ancient compass, now glowing intensely and projecting complex star patterns swirling midair. The cryptic display hinted at turbulence far beyond their expectations. Through the ship's viewfinder appeared a visual loop of a distant celestial event, endlessly repeating with unsettling clarity. The scene blurred the line between present and past, deepening the crew's unease. Communication systems began failing intermittently, isolating the crew within the ship. Static and dead air replaced meaningful signals, raising tensions across the confined space. Lena spotted a flicker on the star map resembling a past event, possibly a memory or a warning. The team debated its cryptic meaning, uncertainty knitting furrowed brows. Ignoring warnings of space-time distortion, Kale attempted a risky maneuver to stabilize the ship's trajectory. His mechanical arm moved with precise urgency as the ship groaned under stress. The ship passed through a shimmering veil, and for a brief moment, the crew glimpsed alternate versions of themselves. The fleeting visions left them questioning reality as their synchronized watches ticked wildly out of sync. Dr. Myrick's voice cut through the ship's low hum with a dire warning. Crossing the meridian threshold risked trapping them in a temporal feedback loop from which there was no escape. He emphasized that the ancient compass they relied upon might be their only safeguard. Lena exchanged a determined glance with Kale, knowing the stakes had just risen immensely. Suddenly, the holographic compass emitted a sharp, high-pitched tone that resonated through the ship's decks. The shifting star maps aligned perfectly for a brief moment, revealing a concealed path hidden within the cosmic tapestry. The corridor through time and space shimmered like an invitation and a perilous gamble. Lena gripped the controls tightly, steering the vessel through the unveiled course. Each moment brought surges of gravitational distortion, the ship straining against invisible pressures that threatened to tear them apart. Her eyes never left the glowing compass, its light flickering as the anomalies intensified. Without warning, alarms blared, systems began to fail one after another. Kale sprang into action, his mechanical arm whirring as he improvised repairs on the erratic conduits amid the fluctuating time streams. Shifts in gravity and time warped his perception, but he worked with relentless precision. The environment around them began to flicker wildly, alternating between the ship's current state and fleeting glimpses of past moments aboard the vessel. Lena caught ghostly images of their distant origin world, fragmented and ephemeral, like echoes trapped in a loop. This temporal dissonance unsettled them all, reminding them of the fragile boundary they now crossed. Myrick studied the ancient compass intently, uncovering new data hidden within its quantum readings. He theorized it was resonating with quantum echoes left by explorers who had ventured here before, their temporal footprints embedded in the device's core. This revelation changed their understanding of the anomaly's depths. The crew gathered to debate their next move, torn between risking a temporal jump out of the anomaly's heart and the terrifying possibility of being erased entirely. Fear mingled with resolve. Any misstep could mean losing not just their lives, but their existence. The dilemma weighed heavily on every mind and soul aboard. As tension thickened, Lena's compass suddenly displayed an unfamiliar symbol, radiating a cool blue luminescence. This new glyph seemed to unlock additional data on the star map, revealing alternate routes and subtle shifts previously obscured. It was a clue, and perhaps a key, to navigating the chaotic currents ahead. Without warning, Kale vanished from view, leaving only an empty echo in the corridor. Moments later, he reappeared dazed, his memories fragmented and tinged with images from an alternate timeline of their journey. His brief absence cast a shadow of dread across the crew, signaling the anomaly's unpredictable reach. Myrick assembled the fragmented clues and proposed a disturbing theory. The anomaly fractured time itself into parallel streams, each threatening to overwrite their singular reality. The fabric of their existence might be unraveling, replaced by alternate versions slipping into their world. This revelation heightened the urgency of their mission. The ship's interiors convulsed in impossible ways. Corridors bent and merged, walls twisted in fractal patterns that defied logic and physics. Stepping through doorways felt like traversing shifting gateways between moments, each more disorienting than the last. Lena clung tightly to the ancient compass as it projected a star map that began to stabilize amid the chaos. The shifting lines slowly formed a coherent path, signaling a tenuous safe route through the temporal labyrinth. With cautious hope, they prepared to follow the compass's new guidance. Kale's voice grew urgent as he warned them all. They needed to act fast before their identities started blending with alternate versions of themselves. The risk of losing one's sense of self became more than theory, it was a looming reality. Time was slipping away faster than they dared imagine. Synchronizing their irregularly ticking watches, the crew set a coordinated countdown to time their leap through the heart of the anomaly. Each second carried immense weight as they prepared for a maneuver that could either save them or condemn their existence. The tension was palpable, the silence before the storm absolute. An intense surge erupted, flinging the ship forward through a kaleidoscopic storm of temporal fragments. Past, present, and future flickered wildly in the vessel's hull, a dizzying swirl of moments collapsing and rebounding against the hull. Every fiber of the crew's being was tested, as reality itself seemed to fracture around them. Through the chaos, Myrick managed to stabilize a core device, harnessing the anomaly's restless energy into a controlled rift. The ship sagged under the power as the device pulled a steady stream of quantum force into the breach they sought to create. This fragile control was their best hope for escape. Gazing through the rift, the crew caught a glimpse of a future warped nearly beyond recognition, the world they knew altered and broken. Silent cities, strange skies, and unfamiliar stars haunted the vision, a warning of what might come if their mission failed. The weight of their task was written in those fleeting images. Resolute, Lena vowed to preserve their reality by recalibrating the compass, using it to reverse the anomaly's relentless corruption. She studied the device closely, deciphering subtle fluctuations and guiding the adjustment with careful precision. The path to salvation depended on her success. Kale readied the ship for the upcoming temporal burst, a critical surge of energy needed to close the rift safely. Every system was checked and reinforced, his mechanical arm humming as it prepared to deliver the final pulse. The crew steeled themselves for what was to come, trusting each other implicitly. As the crew initiated their plan, the anomaly reacted violently, thrashing unpredictably against their intervention. The ship trembled and groaned beneath the strain, the very fabric of space-time shuddering in resistance. They braced for impact, hearts pounding with both fear and determination. The ancient compass blazed white-hot, pouring radiant waves through the vessel's structure that rippled like sonic pulses. Its light illuminated every corner, combating the darkness of temporal distortion with fierce brilliance. This surge of power was both a beacon and a shield against the unfolding chaos. Time itself began to mend around them. The star maps ceased their erratic shifts, freezing into stable and familiar patterns once more. The pervasive sense of fracture lifted slowly, the corridor of uncertainty gradually solidifying into clarity. Relief began to replace the dread that had gripped the crew. Lena expertly maneuvered the ship through the anomaly's now calm heart, racing against the imminent collapse of overlapping timelines. Every star and coordinate aligned as they sailed through the fragile corridor, the compass guiding like a steadfast ancient guardian. Each second was a victory in preserving their reality. Myrick tracked the crew's vital signs against the backdrop of fading distortions, confirming the singular reality strand remained intact. His relief was tempered by cautious vigilance, knowing the anomaly's effects could still surprise them. The crew's unity and endurance had preserved more than just their lives, they had preserved existence itself. Kale activated the final pulse from his mechanical arm, a surge of energy designed to seal the rift once and for all. The ship vibrated as the breach closed, the infinite fracturing of time snapping back into a singular flow. Their ordeal was ending, though shadowed by mysteries yet unrevealed. The anomaly finally collapsed in on itself, disappearing like a fading shadow. Outside the observatory's viewport, the stars shimmered steadily, undisturbed for the first time in weeks. Lena's gaze fixed on the holographic compass resting on the table as its glow softened to a gentle pulse. The device's dim light signified that the chaotic flux of time had balanced once more. Kale and Dr. Myerk exchanged relieved glances, their synchronized watches clicking with steady, even ticks after the previous irregularities. The certainty of normal time flow reassured them both. Back inside the observatory, the star map displayed a stable cosmic skyline, familiar constellations locked in their usual positions. The shifting patterns had ceased, confirming the universe's calm return. The crew methodically logged their experiences in the ship's records, emphasizing the compass's crucial role as a temporal anchor throughout the ordeal. Its importance was undeniable for navigating time's fragile currents. Quietly and with care, Lena slid the compass into her jacket pocket, mindful of its power and the responsibility to protect it. The weight of guarding such a device settled on her shoulders. Meanwhile, Myerk studied a subtle residual temporal anomaly detected in his lab. Though minor and far less threatening, it served as a sober reminder of their vulnerability to time's unpredictable forces. Kale set to work upgrading the ship's systems, applying insights gained about temporal mechanics and anomaly stabilization. His mechanical arm adjusted tools with practiced precision as innovation took shape. Under a calm and steady night sky, the team shared a quiet moment of camaraderie, their bond fortified by the challenges they'd endured together. The stars above seemed to witness their renewed unity. Lena gazed thoughtfully at the constellations, aware that the universe still held countless mysteries beyond their reach. Yet, for now, time itself was theirs to guard, a precious frontier guarded by steadfast vigilance. Under the pale glow of a flickering streetlight, Mara pores over an ancient blueprint, her fingers tracing the faded lines beneath the dim, shifting shadows of the night. The city hums around her, a maze of secrets waiting to be unraveled. Nearby, Dex sharpens a compact knife, his scarred eyes darting across the darkened alley, each scrape of the blade echoing his readiness and caution. His hands move with practiced precision, muscles tense to spring at a moment's notice. Lyle leans against a rusty lamppost, flicking a silver coin that catches the faint light, the cryptic symbol shimmering briefly before it spins through the air. He tosses a smirk toward Mara and Dex, his playful tone a fragile veil over the tension tightening around them. Sophia arrives silently, her sleek bob framing sharp eyes as she spreads tactical maps across a cluttered table strewn with tools and mechanical parts. Her calm presence steadies the group, bringing focus to the unfolding plan. The team huddles close, poring over the intricate designs of an unbreachable vault hidden beneath a corporate monolith. The stakes loom large as they outline each step, knowing the consequences of failure could unravel them all. The silver locket catches a stray beam of light against Mara's black-gloved hand, a silent talisman as she listens intently to Sophia's crisp, calculated instructions. Time hangs heavy in the air, measured and unyielding. Close-ups reveal their faces etched with determination and fear. The clock ticks relentlessly as the weight of their mission presses down, promising ruin if they falter. Eyes meet briefly, unspoken resolve passing between them. In near darkness, they practice hand signals, swift, precise gestures weaving silent conversations. Each move is rehearsed with an urgency that mirrors the pounding rhythm of their hearts. Dex rolls up his sleeve, a faded tattoo and fresh scar narrating tales of past close calls and battles fought in shadows. The mark is a reminder of the razor's edge they now tread. Lyle's fingers trace a rough sketch of an escape route, highlighting a seldom-used service elevator hidden behind walls of steel. His smirk fades to a look of pure concentration as he explains the delicate timing required. Mara's gloved fingers dance deftly over a model safe, the clicks whisper soft promises of mastery. Her steady hands belie the storm of adrenaline surging beneath her calm exterior. Sophia aligns their watches, the metallic ticks synchronizing their resolve as each second seals their fates. Her slender fingers brush the dials, marking the moments where luck and skill must intersect. A wall clock looms large as its pendulum swings, and the minutes cascade into midnight, silent herald of the heist's inception. The neon glow outside flickers in time, casting fractured shadows on faces ready to move. Blending with the neon-lit crowd, Mara, Dex, and Lyle navigate the city's pulse, their presence swallowed by the nightlife's kaleidoscope. Each step forward is a step deeper into danger's heart. Inside the polished skyscraper lobby, footsteps echo ominously as security patrols draw near. Breath catches as each passing guard tightens the invisible noose, their vigilance sharpened beyond expectation. Dex clamps a gloved hand over the corner of a security camera, wires snipped just in time. His eyes betray a flicker of unease. No plan survives perfect execution, and shadows whisper of unseen threats. Mara slips through a locked door with practiced ease, her touch a ghost against cold metal. Lyle watches the guards' shifting patterns, their rhythms a living puzzle to evade. Suddenly, a guard's flashlight beam jitters, casting erratic light that dances over Mara's shadow. Time suspends as she freezes, heartbeat loud in the silence, then the beam swings away, granting her fleeting reprieve. Relief flickers briefly on Mara's face as the danger passes, her breath shallow but steady beneath the mask of composure. Every second counts, and every slip could be the last. Lyle crouches by a control panel, rerouting alarms with deft hands. Mechanical clicks and faint, electronic hums dissolve into silence, a fragile piece amid the approaching storm. The low drone of unseen machinery grows louder as they ascend toward the vault's guarded sanctum. Tension prickles the air, thickening with each step nearer to the prize and peril. Their rhythm shatters as Sophia's plan collides with an unforeseen laser grid, red beams crisscrossing like silent sentinels. The team halts, recalibrating under the pressure of this stark new barrier. Mara's gloved hand brushes a laser beam, the hairs on her skin standing on end as she inches past. Not a sound betrays the near trigger of the alarm, a razor's edge walked with breath held tight. Thinking quickly, Dex tosses a small mirror into position, bending light to forge a narrow, new path through danger. The fragile diversion shimmers in the neon glow, a fleeting thread of hope. Lyle's earlier grin fades as he spots movement, a secondary security team closing in swiftly. Shadows lengthen and pulses quicken. The clock ticks loudly against the rising tide of threat. The team huddled tightly in the shadows, eyes darting as hands moved swiftly in silent communication. Every gesture conveyed urgency, adjusting their tactics without a single whispered word. The dim glow of streetlights flickered above, casting fleeting patterns over the tense faces. Sophia, her expression composed, traced elegant signals that reassigned positions with effortless precision. Her voice remained unused, but her calm authority resonated through their movements. Each member absorbed the revised plan instantly, ready to adapt under pressure. Mara's fingers closed firmly around the silver locket hanging at her neck. The cryptic symbol reflected faintly in the muted light, anchoring her resolve. Despite the chaos surrounding them, it remained a silent talisman, a tether to purpose. With a nod, Dex stepped forward, his scarred brow furrowing in concentration. He navigated the labyrinthine corridors with measured stealth, every footfall calculated yet silent. The faded tattoo on his forearm seemed to pulse with determination as he led the way. Suddenly, hurried footsteps echoed sharply behind the team, shattering the fragile silence. Without hesitation, they pivoted sharply, squeezing through a narrow ventilation shaft. The tight space swallowed them whole as they escaped imminent danger. Inside the cramped shaft, the air was thick and their breath shallow, strained against constriction. Clasping gloved hands gripped cold metal as bodies pressed close. Their tense eyes scanned the semi-darkness, alert for any sign of pursuit. Emerging near the vault, Lyle crouched and produced vintage lock-picking tools from a worn pouch. His nimble fingers danced expertly over the intricate mechanism, bypassing security with practiced ease. A subtle smirk played on his lips despite the stakes pressing in. A faint mechanical whir cut through the silence, followed by the slow creak of the vault door opening. The aged door groaned as metal met metal, revealing the chamber beyond. Relief flickered briefly among the team as opportunity presented itself. Within the vault, soft light shimmered off meticulously stacked assets, their origins untraceable and unknown. The tangible weight of their haul pressed silently against the tension in the air. The stakes of their mission crystallized